man. Awesome job, dude. Awesome job. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Oh, my God. We are the champions. Yes. Lincoln Star, boys. Yes.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Darian Gilliam, aka Black Flags Matter, back at it again with another edition of the famous NASCAR Weekly Podcast. For the first time on Black Flags Matter in, I want to say, gosh, nearly 6-7 months. It has been crazy. We have been gone for so long, but we're finally back here tonight. We have our usual panel, and tonight, special guest, the one, the only, one of the most famous F1 YouTubers on the platform, Josh Revell. How's it going, man?
Going good, man. Thanks for inviting me on.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Really quick, let me get this question out of the way. Is it NASCAR or NASCAR?
The last one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I figured as much. Well, it's so good to have you on, man. So we have a lot to get into tonight. So let me pull up the itinerary. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've hosted, so if I make a few mistakes, forgive me here. But we are just getting back from Speed Week. It has been crazy. Speed Week was crazy, man. Damn, where did we start, man? So Jarrett was there. Danny showed up for a little bit. Eric's power went out. So it's been crazy.
You say we're back. We're not all back. I'm still in Florida.
Yeah.
I'm in Tennessee.
I was just about to say, you guys tell everybody what has been happening the past couple of days. Jarrett, start us off. Where have you been?
My big story here is so they had this big winter storm, which Eric can definitely tell everybody about too. And basically it covered the South, and there's no offense to the South, but y'all don't know how to deal with snowstorms and ice storms the way that the North does. Nope. And I'd rather stay in Florida than go through a giant storm and possibly get my car crashed. And that also hit pretty much at the right time, because I ended up actually, getting a little sick, not too bad. It was just a cold, not the vid, not the Rona.
Yeah.
The vid.
I haven't heard that one.
The vid. Yeah, not the Rona. Just stuffy nose and just just not feeling too hot. But I'm better now. I got a little congestion. But we're up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, in the mountains. Well, I don't know why I looked at the window. It's covered, but.
To my knowledge, all of Chattanooga was not affected by the winter storm, but it might be tonight. There's another one coming for tonight that it might hit.
Good timing, Jarrett. Good timing. I will not be going in the pool that is right outside my window. That's for sure. But no, I'm happy to be on tonight. I was actually nervous I'd miss my first episode ever.
Oh, no. We can't.
I think at least 3 of the 4 of us, or I guess of the 5 of us in this case, were afraid they'd miss tonight, because I didn't have power the last 2 days until about 3 hours ago. So we're flying in under the radar. Danny, I love Mickey Mouse just perched on your shoulder.
Mickey Mouse Championship.
I wish I could do that.
They're calling it Mickey Elliott in the chat.
Spam Mickey Championships in the
that's
chat.
Mickey Elliott behind us. That's what we got. But no, for me, so obviously I surprised Jarrett and Darian by originally I was supposed to have Jake Baskinger and Sloppy Joe bring everyone to Hooters, and we'd hopefully have had a table after the Xfinity race. But it didn't work out that way, because me, Claudia, and my brother-in-law were over at the Daytona Flea Market shopping for diecast and other cool NASCAR stuff. And we come out of this tent, and I freak out when I hear a voice that I recognize to my right. I look over, and there's Darian, Jake, Sloppy Joe, and they're talking to like a fan who's recognized them, and I don't know how they didn't see me sprinting off like a little girl, because I was like, oh my gosh, they're right there.
My plan.
Oh, that's funny.
And then so we hide inside the footer vendor tent, and I look up, and there's Jarrett and his girlfriend coming the other way, and I'm like, okay, Claudia. I'm like, Claudia, you're just going to have to film this now, because we're going to have to get this reaction and see what they think. So I come out, and I was like, guys, I'm lost. How'd I end up here?
Dude, and it's crazy. I immediately started jogging over there, and I hugged you in the back. It looked like I was tackling you, though, in like my pictures.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So, dude, it was so great to see you, man. But yeah, the entire week was crazy. So let's get it right into the racing now. So Jarrett, where do we start here? Obviously the Clash for a little bit, right? Our first night.
We talked about the Clash last week.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah,
that's right. We already talked about that stuff. So we talked about the Clash and qualifying. So then okay. So like the 4 main races, obviously. So yeah, like I said, it's been a long week.
Well, I mean, we don't have to talk about ARCA.
No,
Let's be
yeah.
real.
Yeah, ARCA,
Yeah.
that doesn't
Past
even
a lot of that
deserve
stuff.
to be talked about, of course. Not even close. But to start us off, though, on Thursday, after the last podcast, before this one, the duels were pretty interesting. Duel 1 was pretty boring compared to Duel 2, but then Duel 2, they had a rain delay. The track was a lot greener, led to a lot more passing beyond the grid. But then the biggest thing after that was, some key drivers missing the field that were clearly good enough to be there. Ty Dillon, who I believe he finished in the top 5 in the duel
Finished
race.
6th, I think, right?
So he was
Yep.
close. So he was the first car to not have a charter to cross the line, but Austin Cindric beat him out, being a lap down. Why? Because he happened to get in on speed through qualifying, which. These rules every year in the duels, it's like the same song and dance over and over again. It's like, okay, like, so he's good enough to get in, like, he's like the first car to cross the line, but then, like another car who finished behind him makes it in. You know what I mean? So
They should just keep it simple. They should just, qualifying for the Daytona 500 is you put your foot in the gas and you hold the car straight for, 2 minutes or a minute, whatever the case may be. Now, there's no real driver skill involved in qualifying. So I do think they should place greater emphasis on the duel races, and whichever open, a non-chartered team finishes the best in the duels. In the case of Duel 2, I believe that was the one David Reagan finished the highest, but since he'd already locked himself in on speed, they reverted back to the next fastest car on speed, as opposed to the next fastest car in that duel race, which is what I think they should do. It'd be easier to watch on TV, it'd be easier to understand, and it would give the drivers more input rather than just who has the fastest motor and the most resources to make your car go fast at Daytona.
Basically, it just defeats the purpose of racing your way into the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense, and it's just confusing. So moving on, the truck race happened. There was some stuff that happened there too. My pick, James Busher, didn't even make it a lap. That was crazy.
It was your pick made the race.
Norm
My pick
Benning
missed
the race.
completely.
But you're
Yeah.
you're ahead of me on points. We'll get to the points.
We'll get to
later.
that.
We'll get to that later. But I mean, the truck race was like, I agree with Jarrett. Like we were talking about it before that we went live. Like it was meh, I'd say. It had its moments, but I mean, typically the truck race is more chaotic.
I mean, it had great. I think the finish was great. Jordan coming up there and once again finishing second. Like if you look coming out of 4, he is 12th, and he misses the wreck, but he also has a great run too, and went up to finish second. I think they said it was around the same as last year.
I was gonna say, was it closer? I guess it looked like it was further because they weren't side by side like they were.
I know if you add the 2 intervals from last year's finish and this year's finish up, it equals like 4/100ths of a second total. So,
but poor Derek Kraus, man, he got into 4 accidents that night. It was bad. And then on top of that, last year I believe he got into like 1 or 2 the year prior. So
super speedway racing is not his thing. He's the short track driver from isn't he from the Midwest somewhere? Is he from Wisconsin?
I thought he was from
Wisconsin.
Georgia. Oh, Wisconsin.
Yeah, he's from
I think
Wisconsin.
he's from Wisconsin, yeah. So
Yeah.
Daytona is a new thing for him.
And apparently Johnny Sauter was crying again. I obviously didn't watch the broadcast. I was there, but like,
Oh, yeah,
he's always crying, man. This guy.
Well, he's just always upset. He's inventing new curse words. I think my favorite thing is he said something was like an MFing joke ass, something like that. I didn't know what I was like, whoa, that's a new one.
Joke.
Johnny Sauter bringing new insults out here. Like, yeah.
The Wisconsin drivers, they're going crazy. Hey, so really quick, guys, I put it in the chat, but let me say it live on stream. I will be reading your guys' super chats at the top of the hour, so just stay tuned for that. So moving. Oh well, I mean, let's also talk about Haley Diggin for a second. I mean, like nothing too special, in particular happened in this race. But what caught me off guard though was she was saying on her radio, and I read this on Twitter. She was shocked at how smart you have to be to race at these super speedways in the trucks. I'm like, wait, so wait a minute. Like, did you not do any sort of preparation beforehand? Because clearly ARCA and the trucks are totally different.
I want to ask Josh, when it comes to like, F1, if someone had said that on the way up, like, what's the reaction? Because in NASCAR, for like, I know for us, it's like,
Night and day.
wait, are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Probably just
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, like F1 is all.
Oh no, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, go ahead,
Josh.
Yeah, sorry. No, it's so basically, if someone came up to the equivalent rank and was saying that kind of stuff, I think they do kind of say that stuff already. You do get some clueless drivers in there who, sort of wing it, and then they get there just like, what? Like, is it really this hard?
It's
but nah, to be saying that mid-race, imagine the crew chief's like, hold on, what? You
Like,
didn't
wait
realize
a
what you're in.
Like, I mean, because we won't even go into full detail about the ARCA race. That's how bad that racing is. So, I don't know. It's just crazy to me.
It's like the
But-
stereotype is just that super speedway racing is just, luck of the draw. There's no real like skill to it, I guess, is
To
where
an
she's.
extent, it is. But
But it's
like,
interesting 'cause
yeah.
she's 19, so she spent way more years watching these races on TV than she has drafting or doing
Yeah.
anything like that in any capacity. So that it is, I will give her credit. She ran a smart race. She didn't really race. I'll be honest. She never really. She basically planted her truck on the double yellow line and did not leave the bottom all night long. So to say that she raced is maybe overstepping yourselves a little bit, but she at least kept her nose clean for the most part until she wrecked. But I don't really think that was her fault. That was a issue
Speedy
with the
dry
track.
thing, yeah.
Yeah,
BJ
and that was-
McLeod did the same thing the night before too.
Yeah. So, but I thought she ran a smart race and a patient race, which I can't say we've said about Haley Deegan ever before that she was patient in a race, but it might have paid to her, paid well for her in this case.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
I think if anything, it might have honestly so nerve wracked that was all she really wanted to do in that moment. Because I mean, it did seem like it was the first time really that I've seen where she was just, especially hearing that stuff after the fact and then watching her at the track, it seemed like the first time that she really was just completely ready to be conservative, not charging, not trying. Because remember last year she crashed somebody in the ARCA race, just
I
slammed
thought
right in the back.
she almost injured that man. That was crazy.
Yeah. And this year, I mean, you're right, Eric. She just sat on the bottom the entire race. Like I was recording a few times when she went by and was watching her for much of the race. And the whole time she just plastered to the yellow line,
Yeah.
would get shuffled back. Then the yellow line, then the bottom line would go up to the front and she'd go with them. I mean, you're right. She didn't race. She did not make really a move that whole race.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty much like the sum of it.
And then the Xfinity race. Now, the Xfinity race got off to a very interesting start. They couldn't get any sort of qualifying in. So, unfortunately, the guy who finished second the previous night in the Truck Series race, Jordan Anderson, didn't even get a chance to make the race. And, to be honest, like, that car was pretty, like, I'm quite sure they would have definitely qualified.
Oh, yeah.
In practice,
they had an RCR
were pretty
engine in
fast.
there.
Yeah, for sure. And so unfortunately, when I'm just getting into the ARCA race, I happen to be seeing the hauler heading out, and I'm like, this is so messed up because, when you think about it, since there's not a whole lot of qualifying sessions this year, the next chance he gets to race isn't until Circuit of the Americas in May.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
That's if a certain scenario happens. I think Bob Pucker said that basically, if not a full field shows up, then he could enter in because, like, if they're allowing 40 cars and 38 are showing up, then yes, Jordan Anderson can enter. But every time that happens, he's going to start dead last, basically.
Yeah. So at least he's in the race, though. But I mean, just the fact that he had to leave. I mean, that sucked. And then Tyler Reddick didn't make the race neither, and then a couple other cars didn't as well. But.
Well, I want to ask Josh as well, since you follow a lot of other motorsports around the world closer than at least I do. Maybe a lot of these other guys as well. Like, NASCAR is the one major motorsport that in the last year is basically canceled almost all of their qualifying and practice sessions. But from what I can tell, Formula One and most other motorsports are still holding qualifying or something similar very regularly. Tell me, has qualifying, like the process, really changed at all in Formula One or other sports, or is it still kind of business as usual?
Oh, it's pretty much the same, pretty much in every sort of bit of motorsport. That's because, I guess there's not much need to change it for those particular sports. It's just a 1.5 hour session of, fastest guy wins sometimes. And, like that's sort of uniform throughout the motor racing world, except for NASCAR, which is a bit different.
Yeah. Well, I know in NASCAR, a lot of it comes down to, originally it was like, we're saving teams costs because a lot of sponsorship, NASCAR is so heavily dependent on sponsorship that teams were in some cases losing deals for the 2020 season at the time because of the pandemic. Marketing budgets were tightened up. Like, does that conversation come up in other motorsports about, the concern that, hey, maybe we should save these teams money, not run as many extra laps, put, miles on the engines because, hey, what if sponsorship dollars are tight? Like, does that ever come up?
I'm not in Formula One because they don't really care about budgets or money. Apart from the minnow teams, which are just struggling right now. But no, when it comes to cost saving, it doesn't really affect, the race format or qualifying or anything like that. Normally they just fire a few people in your team. And that's how, saving costs. But yeah, I can't think of one series which is sort of, well, there's been one or two events where they've condensed it from like a 3 to a 2 week program. But I think that's more about, traveling from one location to the other, and it, the logistics of it all, rather than it's just saving costs. So yeah, I think it's more of a unique thing to NASCAR. Or
NASCAR, yes.
NASCAR.
I just think it's interesting because they try to, the whole point of, no practice and qualifying is to help, you say F1, they don't care as much about some of the smaller teams. NASCAR, this is all to help the smaller teams because they can't, a cost of a set of tires is a lot to a small NASCAR truck or Xfinity team. But then here you are, you have a brand new Xfinity series team with Jordan Anderson, who we're talking about, that, isn't going to get to race until May. And, they've kind of put all their eggs into that basket. And so there's a small, built it yourself type team, the kind of story that NASCAR was sort of built on for years, that, kind of as a result of this policy is now kind of screwed. And it's, I know that all of us up here have been pushing NASCAR to bring qualifying back, at least in some capacity, as soon as possible. And because I just can't, the costs are outweighing the gains from it at this point. I just don't think saving teams a few bucks on tires each week is really making a difference anymore. I don't think that matters.
But now to the racing. The Xfinity race was fairly entertaining. I know some people
It's pretty good.
They were pretty, some people were, including Sloppy Joe, who was sitting right beside me, were pretty disappointed with the finish. I don't know. I liked it, I don't know, like Harrison Burton was like going off and stuff. Like I'm not sure what happened to him on the final lap, but the race overall was fantastic.
I think we'd all prefer it if it went, to the line, green, everything, the way we always want it, 3 wide, all that. But I mean, the racing itself overall for that long of a race is probably like the best of the weekend. I think the duels probably, the second duel is probably better, but as an overall race night with a full field, I think it was the best race of the weekend, personally.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I would say it was right above the truck race for me. It's just, if it had the truck race finish with the racing it had, the like entire 98% before it, I think it would have been like 10 out of 10 race.
And not every finish is going to be like a thrill show. You know what I mean? As Big Rocky 26 put in the chat. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know, like Austin Cindric happened to be the car in front, and it just happened to take the victory there. What was interesting to me was some of the events that were taking place during it too. Brendan Jones, like he ended up spinning on the final lap, and that wreck was, I thought he was about to get like sideswiped there, and then they just barely missed him there, and they clip him on the edge of his car. That was crazy.
I gotta say, big props to Cody Ware. Like, yes, he hit him, but he did a good job of turning it as early as he did to not make that really bad for both of them.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. And then Ryan Vargas was stuck in the grass after that big one on the straightaway, but then was able to pull himself out too. And there was some pretty cool footage of that online. But then poor Tommy Joe Martins, unfortunately, he was like, he can't catch a break. He was about to get a top 10, got wrecked, and then Austin Cindric ended up winning the race. So I'd say that was a pretty good race.
Never caught a break.
Yeah, he can't. It's crazy. Hopefully he can catch some more breaks this year.
He's Murphy's Law in the form of a driver.
Oh.
Like, anything that can go wrong for him will. Like, the results do not match the performance.
It's crazy. That team works so hard, man. And I was just, they have a soft spot for him. They're one of my favorite underdog teams too.
It's kind of funny following, some of the guys who work for Tommy Joe's team, like Jay Lopez. I know I follow him, and he'll just after a race, it's kind of sad because he'll post a picture of the car, and in your mind you're hearing like, I have to fix this thing.
Yeah, I gotta fix it all. But hey, it's part of the job. So now to the main race, the granddaddy of them all, the giant-ass American race, I love to call it, the Daytona 500, the 2021 edition.
You can add flaming in there too with that wreck at the end.
Oh, yeah. So let's break this down bit by bit because there's a lot to unpack here. So, we get to the track, the race begins. So the first moment was the silent 3. It was cool.
Hey, first race of the day was Jet and I and Justin kicking your ass.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we went go-karting too. Yeah, they beat me. The one time they beat me, so they can have their fun today.
Jet beat us by 4 tenths.
Hey, I know he was going off, but dude, like tell them about the place. That track was physically demanding though.
There's a new so for anyone who's planning on going to Daytona in August or for the 500 next year, there is a place like right next door to Home Depot, Cracker Barrel, all that stuff. Really good place. There's a small track that's not really good for go-karts, but there's like a track that you go up like 2 or 3 stories, like height of a hill, maybe 2. You go up a good like 20, 30 feet hill through these S's that are on top and then back down this hill. And it's a really, really nice course to race on. And the cool thing is it shows you how fast you're going too. So like, I think the lowest that we got during a fast lap at speed was 34 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was crazy though.
So for an indoor place, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's nice.
And Jet and I had a nice battle for the lead while we all kicked Darian's ass. Just need to put that out there.
See, I'm always schooling him whenever we're in Nashville at like the music one. So it's like I'm always like 2 seconds.
No, I lapped you, man. We lapped you.
Oh, it's about fast lap times, bro. It's not about the position.
You're saving
You
your best
obviously
stuff at the
didn't
end.
put fast lap times up.
Hey, I got a
Jet and I
top
finished
5.
ahead of you.
Hey, I know one place qualifying isn't
6.
canceled.
It's a top 5 finish.
You got a top 5 out of 6.
It's all good. My cart stopped though, so
It's not like when Natalie Decker won, but she was the only one in her
The
class.
only one. Oh my god, talent for sure. But no, back to the race now. Now the first moment of the race, the silent lap number 3. That was cool being there. I think this is a tradition they should probably do, like, every 10 years, you know what I mean? Like, it's perfect, in 2011, it was cool seeing it on TV and actually be a part of it, and that moment was awesome. But then Earnhardt Sr. got his revenge because Cope blew a tire on the 3rd turn, the same turn that Dale Sr. blew a tire in 1990. So Cope blew a tire, hits the wall, cautions out. So I was like, damn, he got his revenge from the grave years
Spooky
later.
stuff.
Yeah, very spooky. But then it gets stupid here, okay? So we knew the weather was coming. It was pretty apparent. The clouds were moving in. We're like, oh, here we go. So you would think that these teams would tell their drivers, like, hey, stay conservative here, okay? Like, look, we gotta, it's gonna be a long rain delay here. Just make sure the car is on one piece. But instead, the 2 JGR bums and the 18 and the 20 to want to go ham, and they caused the big one out of nowhere. And I'm just like sitting there going like, what in the hell? Like, what just happened here? Like, big ones like this in the Great American Race typically don't happen. And it was at that very moment I knew at that very moment. I was like, oh my goodness. They are not going to race the entire race now because the big one happened so early. So let's get our thoughts on this. Eric, you go first, man. What'd you think? Wasn't that ridiculous?
I mean, so first off, them racing 2 wide, a little bit of 3 wide, I thought was a little risky for being 14 laps in, but 2 wide would come to expect it since they took the restrictor plates off and invented the giant spoilers 2 years ago. So I was like, okay, this just looks like a normal Daytona race. A little bit of pushing, but the one plus side of the giant spoilers is, the car is usually pretty stable. I mean, yeah, you can knock them out of the way, but you got to hit them really, really hard to do so. The problem there was Bell had a run. Granted, I can't blame Kyle Busch for that at all. He pushed him up there and then he got off Christopher Bell. Bell had plenty of time to either lift or do whatever he wanted. Instead, he kept his foot in it. And the most important thing, or the most important mistake he made, was that it looked like he turned the wheel still. He was still moving sideways as he came to Almirola's bumper. And we've seen it happen in 2018 when Austin Dillon turned Eric Almirola. It happens time and time again. It happened last year with Newman and Blaney on the final 100 yards. It's like if you're moving laterally sideways across somebody's bumper at, the very end of a straightaway when you're at high speeds like that, it causes big accidents. So it was just a rookie move. It was a rookie mistake, a rookie bump drafting mistake from a second-year driver who has more experience than your average Cup Series rookie these days. So that was disappointing. Like I point out that in the ARCA race the day before, Gracie Trotter, was actually making her first ever start at Daytona, at a track like Daytona, made the same mistake. I can forgive that a little bit. I can forgive that a little bit, but I can't forgive. Well, I mean, I can forgive. I'm not like you're like going to be trying to burn Christopher Bell at the stake for 20 years, but I'm like, it's harder to watch a top Cup Series, not top Cup Series driver, but for a top Cup team, great driver, make that kind of mistake that early in the race. But you're right, Darian. I think it was pretty clear once you take out half the field that, yeah, they're not going to race as hard the rest of the way.
It was so ridiculous, too, because a lot of good cars were taken out early on. You know what I mean? Like the 48 and that beautiful 43. Oh, my gosh. And Jarrett, what was the joke you said all weekend about Eric Jones? Go ahead. What did you say?
What was it? I can't remember.
Oh, you can't say it.
It wasn't that good, obviously.
No, you had said something like, "Oh, well, I guess he should have kept the 20," something along those lines. I can't remember, but a lot of people were hammering.
Christopher
Oh, yeah,
Lavelle
yeah.
with the Mickey Mouse
yeah,
bump
it was-
draft in the chat.
I was saying, I was like, yeah, I don't think Eric Jones would have made that mistake. Just saying.
Hey, he's a good super speedway racer. That is one
Yeah.
thing he had going for him.
Yeah, and it had it been fantasy. Dang it, he was up.
I was just sad to see my guy I took out in just 15 laps.
Yeah,
that's disappointing.
The pole sitter
And-
too.
And it's going to forever hurt him in the starting positions the rest of the year unless he can miraculously get a win.
Yeah, so you can thank the 18 and the 20 for that one, ladies and gentlemen. So after the rain delay, which was about 6.
Well,
and
I
a
want to
half-
ask Josh,
Oh,
what do you think of the huge pileup on?
Yeah, what'd you think?
On lap 14 or whatever it was?
And hey, you don't get that in Formula One very much. No, it was I mean, what was it, late 14, 15?
Yeah, 14,
Yeah.
13. It was crazy. Like out of 200.
Yeah, I mean that early on, and again with Bell making that type of move, just taking out that many front running cars, kind of sucked, because again you just knew that these guys are just gonna form the train for the remainder of the race and not really sort of run 2-3 wide until like with 20 to go. It's like, well, okay, we've got like what? How many 100 laps left?
Yeah,
before that's gonna
just to have
happen.
a whole race left. That was like the crazy part about this, because typically when like rain delays happen in these situations, like outside of like the 2014 Daytona 500, like there was a couple delays in like the 2010 race, like not for rain but for other like nonsense going on the track, like late, like in the later stages of the race. Like this is the very beginning of the race, isn't resumed until hours later. I think. What was it, Jarrett? Like the race resumed around what, 8-9 o'clock around that time?
About 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern time. I mean, it ended like Monday morning.
Yeah,
It was
like 1
yeah,
o'clock,
it was- yeah.
basically. So I think outside of like 30 or 40 laps, they were just choo-chooing it on the outside. And I'm like, I knew that was gonna happen, But oh, I hear something in the background. Okay, oh, no, we're good.
Is Mickey Mouse there?
It's Mickey Mouse. It's the Mickey Mouse right there. But no, so what happened was, they were basically just chewing it the whole time, and like obviously, if you follow me on NASCAR Twitter, I'm just like choo, basically just trying to have fun with it. But in reality, though, it was just. It wasn't that entertaining to watch, I guess, if you were like watching it on TV and stuff. But I don't know, being there in person, I don't know. Like obviously it's my first 500 ever, so I'm obviously gonna have a soft spot.
It was boring as hell. Let's be real.
It was, yeah.
Boring as hell in person. You couldn't see half the damn track because there was a fog bank rolling over.
Oh yeah, there was so much fog too.
Let's not
completely forgot
sugarcoat
about
this.
that. I mean, there
just
was
feels
like
like-
there was some funny.
See,
moments.
I couldn't really tell because you can't really, you could see the fog, but it wasn't affecting anything I was seeing from in the infield where I was at. So
Yeah, I mean,
And
it was affecting our vantage point a little bit.
And on TV, the cameras were all close enough that everything will still look clear. But it just feels like the Daytona 500 every year turns into some sort of marathon. That's why I tweeted at some point. I tweeted that NASCAR fans, I swear, are the hardest working fans of any major sport, because to be at a racetrack, and we've all been to a track at some point or another with a lengthy rain delay, to grind it out in those damp, ugly, old-fashioned grandstands, hiding from the rain, hiding in your pickup truck, sleeping in your pickup truck, wading through mud on the infield, wherever you may be. We've all been there. We've all had to do something like that at some point. And the racing, it's all day. Sometimes it's an all-day party when it goes well. Other days it's an all-day just absolute marathon that you guys were talking before we went live. Y'all both feel sick, after just hanging out there for a couple of days. You just get wore out. That's like the NASCAR race sickness that we all end up feeling after a race, because it's just
Keep working out. Get a good workout.
It's a physically
regimen.
demanding sport to support in person sometimes. And it feels like the Daytona 500 perfectly embodies this the last couple of years. These late nights, these damp, rainy fog. Like, what the hell? You just can't plan for all this stuff. I mean, it's
It's
just
crazy.
I will say the one positive this year was that we had infield parking for where we were at. So we got to sit in a Corolla throughout the entire rain delay. So that wasn't bad.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah,
don't fit in a
insane.
Corolla, so that sounds like hell to me.
Well, you fit in a Camry, so
Can you fit in
Corolla.
anything, Eric?
I do fit in a Camry, okay, so I guess
Okay.
a Corolla I could squeeze. I'll just take up the whole back seat. I'll sit sideways.
Josh, to let you know, Eric is like a giant.
I'm
Yeah,
6'7".
It's crazy.
inches. Yeah.
Jeez.
Taller than Michael Jordan, NASCAR's newest team owner, which is a great segue. And actually, we don't have to talk about Michael Jordan. That's not really a segue.
We'll get into it.
We
later.
can talk about another Michael.
Oh yes, another one.
McDowell.
McDowell, the day, dude. We were like going crazy, dude. The final lap was insane. You know, like they were basically just holding back. And poor Denny Hamlin, I was watching him the entire time. Poor Denny Hamlin was trying his best to work with people, but like there were at one point with like 5 or 4 laps to go, Kyle Larson was just holding him back because he was trying to push Larson out of line to work with him, and Larson was like, no, I don't want to leave the line. So poor Denny Hamlin, who was the most dominant car throughout the entire race, unfortunately like just could not compete for the lead because nobody wanted to work together.
It all goes back on that final set of pit stops because Joe Logano honestly timed it very perfectly that when the Toyotas were coming out, Denny Hamlin's up on the high line and he's like, okay, yeah, we're going to hop in. And Joe's like, psych, we're going down.
It was crazy. And then like Keselowski was trying to get the run, and you could tw with 2 laps to go entering turn 3, he got that. He was trying to get that big run there.
I want to say that as much as I went back and rewatched it, I saw some people say that Michael McDowell wrecked Brad and then Brad hit Joey because of that. No, what happened was Joey and Brad were honestly being very defensive. They went down in front of Austin Dillon, and so here comes Michael and Chase and everyone else on the high line. They got all that momentum, but then Joey and Brad are like, oh wait, let's go back up top. No, and what's Michael supposed to do? Lift because you want to go up there?
Yeah.
No, you don't lift in the final lap of Daytona 500. So yeah, they hit Brad, and then Brad hits Joey. They both go wreck, and then Michael McDowell goes and wins.
And we were screaming, weren't we, Jerry? We were like, let's go, McDowell's the 500.
The crowd was going nuts. Like I didn't see anybody in there. There were people after the race that were like cheering.
I mean, I really should have been more worried that someone was hurt like I was a year ago.
Well,
but
no.
I was excited because McDowell just won the freaking 500.
Well, what happened with my vantage point was like I saw the huge, ball of fire, and I was like, oh no, is he okay? You know what I mean? Like because I knew they were gonna call the caution. And to those saying like, oh, NASCAR shouldn't have called the caution, like no, they made the right call.
After last year, definitely.
Lives are on the line at that point.
Yeah, it's like, come on, y'all. Like they made the right call there. That was a crazy wreck. And then even from Bubba's onboard view, it was.
He had fire go into his cockpit.
Yeah, he looked. It was funny. They're sitting there. They got this shot of him, and he's like you could see him kind of go like this as he like hit. And I've never seen like with the Hans and everything. Like there's really no movement from the body of the head, but you could see Bubba go as he like went into the wreck. I've never seen that in a driver.
Hans device can protect you from a lot of things and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it can also keep you from moving anywhere when a freaking fireball's in front of your face.
I want to ask Josh really quick, like just what do you think of like the super speedway racing compared to the typical like Formula One racing etiquette? Like what do you think?
Well, I mean, like if you ask any sort of typical Formula One fans who despise NASCAR, they'll just say it's boring. That's the typical response of those so-called Formula One fans who despise NASCAR. Of course, there's a lot more to it than just driving around in circles. But I've seen this come up for debate lately about how whether or not there should be, restricted plate racing, super speedway racing. Honestly, this has sort of become an issue in the last 2 years where we've had these types of wrecks going on. But what we're gonna get rid of Daytona? Is that ever gonna be an option?
Never. That will never happen.
It's just like we make these complaints about these types of wrecks going on, the single file racing, not much happening. But we're not gonna get rid of it.
Never.
It always remain part of the schedule.
And that's
I guess we can just run the road course.
And that's a perfect segue into this. We'll talk about this for a moment. Like the racing etiquette is also coming into question of these drivers. You know what I mean? Because I was putting tweets out the other day. Like I personally believe this is a driver problem. I mean, just a NASCAR man on Twitter who puts out amazing content on YouTube and Twitter, by the way. He put out a thing. Pretty much like
it listed out the number of crashes in the Daytona 500 by year, and you could tell. I noticed since stage racing was introduced in 2017, the number has spiked to like 30 cars a year. It was like at 2024.
I don't think there's one root cause for this. I think it's a lot of both bad decisions and also just driver etiquette problems all mixed into one. I mean, people are talking like and I'm not going to use this as a change because everyone knows how I am with the playoffs. I'm not going to sit here and bash the playoffs. It's just one thing that I said last year about it too is it's a system that promotes go for broke, go for the win at all costs, leave everything else at the door kind of racing, which is fine. It's just that when you have 30 drivers at the very least who know they realistically have a shot at that, they're going to do that. Then you have all these drivers that are younger coming up that, for some of them were born after Dale Earnhardt died.
Yeah.
They live in a safer world, than drivers of the past had.
Well, they mentioned it during the broadcast that only one driver in the field this weekend was in that race with Dale Earnhardt when he died in 2001. That was Kurt Busch.
And Dale Sr. flipped him off in the race too.
There's that fun detail as well.
Yeah.
But I don't want me to cut you off, Jared, but I want to echo that. I 100% believe it. It comes from a mindset of, almost every driver in the field today has not seen a NASCAR driver die in their lifetime, like at least since they remember it. And I think as drivers like Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, Dale Jarrett, I could just keep rounding off, Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards, as they've started to retire, and you could tell they put an emphasis on safety. They put an emphasis on that driver etiquette. I think this came perfectly into play 3 years ago, Martin Truex versus Joey Logano at Martinsville, that bump and run. Martin Truex Jr., 40 years old, Joey Logano, 25 years old. There's a huge difference there, and you could see it. And right now, the field is full of Joey Loganos. And I believe Joey Logano, I think him blocking late on Keselowski, because gotta do what I gotta do to win the Daytona 500 is what caused that wreck. And I wish, you saw how pissed Brad Keselowski was.
Through the helmet. I'd never seen that.
Punch Joey Logano in the face. I wish Eric Almirola had beat the shit out of Christopher Bell after that lap 14 crash. Or I wish their crew guys had gotten into a fight. Actually, that's a bad example.
Eric's cussed? What?
Just Almirola and Bowman, everyone just ready to gang up under the right lane.
The drivers have to hold each other accountable. The problem is we look at these blocks. I'm going to focus on the Logano one. You look at the block and you're like, oh, he's just doing what he has to do to win the Daytona 500. What, wreck himself in the field? Because that block isn't going to work. And so I'm like, why do the drivers not actually hold each other accountable for bad blocks at Daytona the way they do when you get bumped and runned at Bristol? And
they did back in the day.
But they don't anymore.
I know,
I think that's the problem.
Part. Yeah.
What happened to boys have at it?
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're gonna get turned at 200 miles per hour, like I feel like the least you can do is just fight him a little bit.
Well, and I think the reason they don't fight is because I think even Joey Logano, he knows he just wrecked and almost flying into the fence quite nearly. But even Logano's like, I wasn't gonna get hurt.
Like it's crazy. Exactly. That mindset is dangerous.
He doesn't actually feel like he was in danger. Like he didn't feel like he was putting himself in danger by doing that block, and so he doesn't understand why a driver who's a little older like Brad Keselowski or like Denny Hamlin would be so put off by that.
And that's what I don't understand is this is literally a year after Ryan Newman. This is 20 years after Earnhardt. Like there's a little significance to this race.
Do they not realize that you can get seriously injured in these things? It doesn't matter how safe they are. It still can happen.
And that's what just to echo those sentiments, that's what pisses me off about a lot of them today is they don't act like they're doing something that's dangerous.
And also another thing too is you can tell that a lot of these drivers did not work on cars at all growing up because they could just wreck these, they just wreck these cars and it's like nothing to them. It's like, oh, they'll just fix it, or like somebody's got to fix that. Like this is like millions and millions of dollars of damage that has to go back to the shop. And now
I personally,
fix that, man.
I think that's why I personally find myself liking, our friend Ryan Vargas, because not only is he out there driving for JD Motorsports, he's behind the scenes in the shop working on that same car that he drives. And one of the things that he told us was specifically, hey guys, maybe I could have raced a bit more aggressive, got a better finish, but I want to take good care of it. He walked away with just a small scratch on the side of it, and didn't have a car he's got to fix. They can take that thing to Talladega and use it again.
Yep.
You know what I think would be a solution to at least make them stop making really stupid moves like that?
What?
Take penalize them out of not NASCAR, but the team owners. Like, hey, if we deem you and make it the team owners at the team owner's discretion. If you make a dumbass move, we will take that out of your salary. I think that'd be a way to stop them. Because
I really hope the meeting at Penske probably yesterday between Keselowski, Logano, and Roger Penske, who was involved, I really hope they had those types of conversations, because all I know is 2 years ago, Brad Keselowski went on TV and bashed Joey Logano for making bad blocks at Daytona. He went on TV this week and bashed Joey Logano indirectly for making a bad block at Daytona, but nothing's changing. Nothing is actually changing. So, okay, maybe my rant earlier about they should start fighting, that's not going to change necessarily anything either. But I think you're right, Jarrett. The team owners who are footing the bills for these teams, at some point, it's like, I understand in the moment, driver instinct is I have to block. There's my race. But these are supposed to be the best drivers. They're supposed to have the best reflexes. You got to be able to think faster than that. And if you can't think fast enough to realize, hey, this block is about to wreck me and a bunch of other people at 200 miles an hour, then I think that makes you that means you're a worse NASCAR driver if that's your snap decision making skills, if that's what it amounts to. So I don't know. That's the problem I have there, because I do think it's a problem that people are wrecking dramatically at the end of these Daytona races, and quite often it's because of a late block or an ill-advised block or someone pushing way too early in the case of Bell and Busch in this last race. And it's just like, there are no consequences. The consequences used to be drivers get injured or killed, and everyone would have to live with that and see that the very next week. Now that doesn't happen anymore. So where do the consequences actually come from? And right now I just don't see any, so nothing's going to change.
Yeah, and I guess to close it out this topic here, do you guys think that something dramatic happening would lead to changes? Unfortunately, like what I mean? Yeah,
I think it's been too ingrained at this point. I mean, you have half a decade of this kind of just absolute insanity. I mean, back in 2015, they were calling it, Denny Hamlin called it the Wild Wild West, and that was still with Jeff Gordon and Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson. I mean, it was Matt Kenseth who instigated that, and I mean, if I'm being objective, that was the wrong thing to do. In person, that was freaking awesome, but I'm gonna be real. But I mean, I think it's been going on too long. I mean, for something drastic, I mean, what defines drastic? Because I don't think a driver being injured obviously isn't.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like possibly a driver losing their lives, possibly.
Look at the injuries. Look at the injuries in Cup. Look how many more injuries we've had in the past 5 years compared to, I'd say, even the 10 years before that. It's not a mistake that it's with the old guard leaving.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not.
Absolutely.
And I think it's gonna get worse.
We'll see what happens. But
they're gonna have to learn one way or another.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But let's move on to the famous iceberg poll. The poll is back on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast on Black Flags Matter. Go over the poll, Jarrett. A record-breaking poll, by the way.
Oh yeah, we finally cracked double digits in the thousands this week for it. We got 13,000 folks.
Awesome.
It's what it shows on screen. It shows 12 on here, but on my studio it shows 13. 17% of you thought this was a great race. To each your own.
I didn't know there were that many Michael McDowell fans in the world.
Yeah, coming out the woodworks now. Yeah.
27% of you thought this was a good race. 35% said average. 15% said below average. And 6% of you said this was a bad race, meaning that 44% of you had a net positive reception, whereas 21% of you had a negative one.
6% Chase Elliott fans.
Looking at some of these comments here, looking at them here. First one here is, having a wreck that big, that early, put everyone into conservative mode until the end. Still a solid race, though. Man, I agreed with you until the end there. But yeah, that's about it. Let's see what else we got. I'm trying to get different people than usual because I seem to read like the same 13 people.
They always upvote their buddies, the normal crowd.
You got a little click going on right now.
Tahim Brown says, I was scared when Kyle slammed Brad head on. Thank God he and Brad are okay. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I forgot that Cindric got destroyed in that wreck as well. So I really hope Roger Penske sat down with those guys afterward. At least with
wow. And Ryan Blaney was in the first one. All 4 Penske cars, and plus Matt DiBenedetto got tore up.
I am reading this comment strictly because of the profile name. It's Pineapple 13 Power. Or no, it's Pineapple Power, but the I's are 1s and the E's are 3s. So I just find that funny.
What are these names?
But it says, that was the worst Daytona 500 I have ever seen. Nice. You've been here since 2013.
Some people have said, told me it's like the 3rd worst 500. So we might have a video on that. I don't know. Super
boring for the period after the red until the last half lap. Happy for McDowell and team, but not a great race at all. Let's get 2 more and then we'll get to the bottom one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Aiden Shreen says, first 199 laps, poo-poo. Last lap, Keselowski go brr. That's a good summary. The one thing about all these comments being on here, and by the way, I had to read it on my phone
that's fine.
because it's not coming up on the computer. But the one thing about so many comments is you have to refresh a lot. So let's see what else we got. Clemson fan 322 says NASCAR needs to fix this rules package for super speedways. This is getting ridiculous. Again, I think it's
drivers. Yeah, driver problem first, if more than anything.
Say
I mean,
goodbye
the
to
rules-
drivers showing up on the show.
I mean, the rules certainly the rules certainly, allow for bigger runs, but like you're supposed to be the best guys in the world. They need to,
Yeah.
they should be able to handle it,
Yeah.
Jonathan C says, bring back tandem racing. This race was way too much single file. But I mean,
tandem races have like the most, like other than the last couple of years, didn't they have the most tore up cars on that list?
Carl Edwards, 2009.
I think the tandem racing was iffy.
I don't know if they really destroyed a ton, but they produced the most dangerous speed. So I remember the very first, the 2011 Budweiser shootout, they were hitting like 210, 215.
It was crazy.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
crazy. I was like, holy crap. Like, they're going this fast.
Didn't the lights go out in one of the practices?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
going full speed. At least I think Kyle Busch.
No,
was going full speed.
no, I think it was Gordon and Edwards, and they didn't let off the gas.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god.
They're like, let's just keep going. Let's get to the light side. Go, go, go.
Yeah, this is
See,
nuts.
I don't see drivers today doing that. I'm sorry. I don't.
Oh.
The current car just wouldn't work. It worked out better to car tomorrow. It was so flat and it worked.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying in the same situation, I don't
Oh
see
yeah,
them
they
doing
would
it.
live off, yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the
All
final
right, so-
comment? What's the final comment?
Last comment. All right, I want all of your predictions, all four of you to predict. Is it positive or negative?
Negative. I think it's a negative.
Josh, it's almost always negative. The first person to comment always hates something or
Yeah,
somebody. So it
basically.
has to be negative.
It's got to be negative based on what most people have thought about this race.
Yeah.
What do you think, Josh?
I mean, yeah,
You should go positive.
negative.
Negative, probably.
All right, from Isaac Gonzalez says, and the Mickey Mouse trophy goes
Yes,
to Mr.
yes,
Revell,
yes,
Michael
yes.
McDowell.
Mickey Mouse championship.
Nice.
Hey, there he is.
I love it.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Danny
that's
has
never
the
gonna go
trophy.
old.
How'd you steal that?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So before we segue into the ratings talk here, make sure to click that like button. We have 553 people watching, only 169 likes. Nice.
I'm joking because I actually have like a Mickey Mouse trophy on my desk.
So make sure to click that like button, everybody. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Okay.
Someone get me McDowell's address.
Yeah.
Do we really have to talk about the rating? That's not
Yeah,
that
no,
fun.
we need to talk about the
We'll touch on
ratings.
it.
Yeah, we'll touch on it. So really quick, Jarrett, you usually read them. Do you want me to read them though, or you got it?
Go for it, man.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so the TV ratings, trucks, pulled in 1,060. Well, I can't.
Oh my God, Jarrett.
I'll do it.
Oh, just do it. Just do it.
Save
Please,
us.
please. Oh God.
Truck's got 1.065 million viewers,
Thank
which is up 6% over 1.005 from last year. So that's the good stuff. Also, ARCA has 892,000, up 12% over last year. Also pretty good. Also, congrats to Jamie Little on being the first woman
Yeah,
to.
that was the only good thing about that race. That was the only good thing.
I heard she did a really good job.
Yeah, she was
So-
decent. I had no
Yeah.
problems with
And
her.
also, Ty Gibbs like slamming Arc afterwards was awesome. You guys couldn't hear that, but at the track it was pretty cool.
He sort of did on TV. It was a more tempered down version of it. But then he apologized for that afterwards. You guys see him on Twitter?
because-
I'd say that was Arca or
No,
Joe
Dale
Gibbs who got
Jarrett.
it.
Dale Jarrett,
Dale
like-
Jarrett got on him.
Dale
and
Jarrett getting on him. Get out of here. Come on.
I agree with both. I think Dale Jarrett was right. I don't like when drivers call Daytona not a real racetrack, but at the same time, I think everything else he said, like, we need some edge. We need some edge in these drivers that isn't blocking on the last lap and causing a 10-car wreck kind of edge. We
Yeah.
need personality edge.
That wasn't all he said, though.
Yeah,
Like,
Well, that's what he said on
he
TV.
said,
That's
no.
all he said on TV.
What he
No.
said at the track was even more. No, he said.
Well, okay, well, he might have said more at the track,
He
but
said-
he
I'm
did.
assuming Dale Jarrett heard TV only.
So what he said at the track was, and I will quote to my best ability because I did not record it. He had said something to the regards of, there are too many drivers out here. Majority of them don't deserve to be out here.
Oof.
He then said that I'm going to go on to iRacing because even though there's more drama on there, it's more real racing than this and has better drivers than we had today.
Yeah.
And then proceeds to just leave the interview like a mic drop.
Yeah,
Dude,
it
I
was
like that.
awesome. Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to agree with what he said, but as someone who just wants more personality in the sport,
It was pretty badass.
I love that.
yeah,
I love that.
it. But you shouldn't have to apologize for that, man. So
No. But anyway, so that was a good. Now we're going to completely nosedive here. Xfinity, 1.609 million viewers, down 11%. Still most watched, not of the day, but for FS1 since I think
The
it was like
college football
December,
season.
yeah.
which I don't really think that's saying much, but okay.
Yeah,
Just because FS1 doesn't get that big. But anyway, the Daytona 500 had a 2.8 average rating with 4.83 million viewers.
Oh.
It was rain delayed, horrible time slot. It was trending actually to be slightly up over 2019, which is good. Started with a 4.7 rating, which is like nearly double what it ended with. So, I mean, it started with around 8 to 9 million viewers to start with. And if that's trending above 2019, you can at least make a case to say we've hit that stabilization still, hopefully.
Hopefully.
It's just a shame because this is 2 years in a row. Think back to 2020 when they had the president there and they were tracking like with over 11 million viewers watching the green flag of that race.
Yeah.
And then it got rained out and they had 7 million viewers on Monday. So you lost out a huge opportunity there to maybe win over some new fans because last year's Daytona 500, albeit with the terrifying crash at the end, was really exciting. This year's Daytona 500 kind of sucked. But even so, you know, you still had over, I think I saw someone say they had nearly 9 million people watching the green flag, and that number would only have gone up afterwards. Of course, we ended up with roughly half that later in the evening with after the long rain delay. So it's really just rain has killed 2 straight years of you know, a golden opportunity for NASCAR and Fox to build new fans. So,
and they're spamming noon in the chat. GG guys. Yes, y'all know what it is.
Yeah, y'all. How was the weather at Daytona around noon? Around noon,
it was
sunny as hell.
It was sunny.
Yeah.
It was clear. You know what I mean? It was great. It was nice.
So we didn't talk about this earlier when we were talking about Daytona 500. Y'all, it got intense down in the infield where I was at. I was under the solar panel roof that they have there on these on these picnic tables with a UNOH umbrella. Well, all of a sudden, like the storm's already hit in, and we're thinking, okay, we'll just sit out here. All of a sudden, this gust of wind, about 50 miles an hour or better, comes blowing in. I literally saw a picnic table go flying up and hit someone. The umbrella that was at our table broke clean off the metal, and it did for about 3 or 4 other tables, and everyone was panicking, thinking, "What is going on?" There's umbrellas flying everywhere. So we ended up like my brother-in-law barely holding on to this umbrella. He's like, looks like he's about to go flying in the air at this thing. And then so we were able to get up and bring it back over, and then so we like basically put it like this, and then this security guy comes up like afterwards. He's like, "We need you to put that down." It's like, whoa, it's gonna blow away if we try to do anything.
Sir, you don't understand.
But no, get out of my infield. We keep doing. Oh, that's hilarious. But nah, man. Like these noon start times, at least for the 500, I'd say. Like put it back to noon, 1 p.m. maybe. But like, you know, just starting it later just killed like all the momentum they had too. And then it was terrible, bro. I mean, like, yeah, granted we were in the grandstands, but it was like on and off for hours though, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think for the Florida races, I lived in Florida for a few months, and, you know, even people not from Florida understand that, like, the later you get into the afternoon, the higher the chance of things getting soggy, you know? So running the Daytona 500, I actually did some research for this for my video today, but of the last 5 races, and I'm talking about 2021, 2019, 18, and then you have to go back to 2009 where they scheduled that race for 3:30 Eastern time. If you look at those last 5 races that have started 2:30 or later, 3 of them have been affected by rain in some way, shape, or form. That's 60%. If you look at between 2010 and 2016, that was 7 years. Only 2 of those races were affected by rain, and all those start, I think, at 1 Eastern time. So you either go for 28% chance of rain for the early starts or 60% chance of rain. I understand it's a very small sample size, not very great data at all here, but you know, twice as likely to get rained out if you start a race at 3 or 2 in the afternoon in Florida than if you start a race at noon or 1. So I think that alone should influence Fox and NASCAR's decision for next year and beyond. At least I would hope, because you can't keep losing out on these golden opportunities to win over new potential fans. And that's what keeps happening.
Absolutely. So now moving on, the next topic we have on hand, it says here, now we touched up on it a bit in the beginning about the charter system and guys missing, but I wanted to get a more take on from Josh Revell, because in F1 they have this rule. It's called I believe it's called the 107% rule. So Josh, could you further explain that rule, please?
Yeah. So basically, the 107% rule was introduced in the mid-90s. It was basically a way of stopping underfunded Italian teams from coming in and lapping about 3 minutes slower than actual cars. There was an actual problem.
Wow.
But it basically you got a lap within 107% of the pole sitter's time, which if you're relatively well funded and if you've got a decent driver in the car, it's not that hard, but it stops this complete circus from transpiring in the race. But yeah, like it's rarely been broken since it was introduced in the 90s. Like the last time it was broken was 2012 when you had the Spanish team that was so severely underfunded, that literally drove around with their promo cars because I guess they were so busy throwing goats off church towers or whatever they do in Spain. But the point really at the end of the day is that it's literally a case of if you don't perform to a certain extent, you're going home. So like it's a good system that works most times.
Okay.
I say most times, yeah.
So the reason I bring that up is because, this NASCAR charter system practically guarantees these charter field teams a spot. And it was looking like it was definitely being abused by, now, I don't want to say abused because, if you have the money to buy a charter, then, you have a charter. Okay, I'm not going to knock you for that. But the Rick Ware racing cars, Jared, talk about it, man.
Well, okay, so Rick Ware's got 4 cars and it's slow as hell. But what I'm thinking is, I think what's going to happen, because NASCAR has shown that they kind of control where they're going with charters, and I don't want them to do this, but I think they're going to. I would rather we have 107% rule if, done correctly in NASCAR. But what I think they're probably going to do is make him sell them. He is going to sell them at a high price to probably a better team who will pay a lot of money, and he is going to laugh his happy ass all the way to the bank. That's what's going to happen.
I didn't even think about that.
Dude, he is going to be he already obviously has lots of money. This man's going to have probably, these charters are going for more than ever now. This man has made his own stock market that people can invest in with charters here, and he's going to cash out at the peak.
I need to invest in that.
And unlike many people probably watching at home, he ain't using Robinhood.
No.
So it's a brilliant scheme because I think that's what he's doing.
I like how you call it a scheme. That immediately makes it sound really dastardly and underhanded.
It feels like it, man. It feels like it. This dude does just enough to make his team presentable.
And props to him. Good. Props to him for that, if he wants to do that.
He does the bare minimum. Has them out there running it
was almost a hazard in this duel race.
Dude, Derek Cope almost took out the field. I was like, what's going on?
He was going half the speed of the pack, just right there on the inside.
It's dead ass driving through Florida. You have an old guy in the slowest car out there.
Oh my God.
It's serious.
These references.
It mirrors real life.
He was so off the pace, dude, and I don't know how it looked on TV, but in person it was ridiculous. Just having a whole pack of cars would go by, and then 27 seconds later, Coke going, what is he doing out here, man? Yeah, this is ridiculous. But I don't know, do you guys think that NASCAR should they're probably not going to do this or whatever, but the charters are probably here to stay for quite some time. I would want NASCAR to put some sort of rule in that is similar to the 107% rule, but I don't know. What do you guys think? At this point, the charters are probably here to stay, right?
Their current rule is something along the lines of if you finish in the bottom 3 in owner points for 2 or 3 years in a row, I'm not getting it right, but it's something like that. Then you get your charter revoked, or somehow that is their 107% rule, but it's super loose. And I feel like you can kind of game the system by maybe changing the number of the car. In Rick Ware's case, maybe you rotate. You have Derek Cope drive the 54 for 3 races, but then you hire. He obviously, I probably wouldn't hire him, but then you hire Landon Castle for 3 races, and he might sneak that car into the top 30 for a couple races, and that helps you out. And you can kind of rotate your drives. But no, I do think there should be something a little bit more in place. It's don't hate the player, hate the system. And the longer NASCAR goes with this system, the harder it's going to be for them to like effectively buy out everyone's charter. It's going to become more and more expensive over time if their value keeps going up. So I don't see the charter system going away as long as they're increasing in value. If they ever start decreasing in value, then we have a problem. But the way it looks right now is it's just like if in 20 years we could see, 30, there'll be 36 charters, 20 of them will be Rick Ware or similar equipment, and you may only have 15 or 16 truly factory teams, like really competitive teams, and that will be an issue is if it just gets to the point where too many cars in the field are just undrivable.
Did you say 20 Rick Ware racing cars?
I'm saying in like 10 or 20, like not 10 years, probably like 20 years down the line, if the system is still in place, you just don't know. Like eventually, eventually Kroger pulls out and JTG Doherty shuts down. That happens there, and there's your sell. Well, I guess they only have one charter now, but you're selling a charter, and who's going to buy that charter? Another, no disrespect, Rick Ware, Live Fast Motorsports, who I'm not convinced at this point is really going to be a contender anytime soon. Another Spire, who maybe is on the up and up. That's who's going to buy your charter first. You're not going to get that many Michael Jordans out there buying charters. There's not that many of those people out there.
Right, exactly. So now moving on, let's see. The next topic. Oh gosh, this list.
This episode is sponsored by Forney Industries. That's right, folks. If you haven't watched the NASCAR Weekly podcast in a few weeks, because this is the first time we've been on Darian's channel in like a year, the NASCAR Weekly podcast is a part of the Out of the Groove podcast network and is sponsored today by Forney Industries. Forney offers a full line of welding and plasma cutting machines, metalworking accessories, and more for do-it-yourselfers all the way to professional metalworkers. Forney has everything you need for your next project. Shop Forney's products at Forney Ind. That's ForneyInd.com. I believe the link is down in the description, or at an authorized Forney dealer near you. Get it done with green. Forney Industries. Thank you to them for sponsoring the NASCAR Weekly podcast.
Yes, thank you guys very, very much. I believe now it is time. Is it that time? Is it that time, ladies and gentlemen?
There's a storm coming in my way.
There's a storm coming here.
Josh has got no idea what's happening.
And it's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly podcast. I didn't cut out, I don't think. Nice.
No, you absolutely did.
Oh man.
And it just got me realizing that like when you do the final round of super chats, I need to run outside because I forgot the Dale call out there.
Josh, you can't see it, but there's lightning flashing effects going on right now. So
no, I don't have them. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, what?
I don't have.
There's no effects.
I didn't have them put in. I'm sorry. I couldn't.
Darian's going cheap on us.
What all do you not have? Did you at least have the outro? What all do you not have?
I have everything but that. I swear.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I have everything
See about that.
Darian's cheaping out on us.
I'm
Oh
sorry,
my gosh.
guys. There you go. There's your lightning. Jared, do your day. What's on tap? What's on the lightning round?
All right. Cheapskate. Anyway, Shriners Hospital is going to sponsor Jesse Little for multiple races this year. So that's good. There's a lot of sponsorship news. On top of that, Buffalo Bills running back Antonio Williams, who we got the pleasure of actually meeting at a Cracker Barrel this weekend. That was one of the oddest things I thought.
He's a humble guy, yo.
How much more American does it get?
I don't remember y'all
Football
talking about
player
that.
at Cracker Barrel outside Daytona Beach. That's
We also got to meet his dad too. That was really
Yeah.
oh, and he's there with his dad. So
Yep.
wholesome.
Mm-hmm. But he is going to invest in Joe Graff Jr. So that was news. And another running
Interesting.
back, New Orleans Saints running back, and former classmate, colleague. Future
So basically,
Ball.
me and Alvin Kamara lived in the same building, Ball Hall at UT, and I would see him probably once a week, a couple times a week in the same elevator. I mean, it's like, didn't really say, "Oh, hey, come on, Alvin, how are you doing?" I didn't really do that. But it's like I'd see the guy every day, and then now he's sponsoring Ryan Vargas.
Dude,
Yeah.
that was
Yes.
awesome. Ryan Vargas.
And I'm looking, Sports Center's even picked it up. They're even tweeting.
Oh,
about
really?
It's funny how like everyone's just saying Alvin Kamara sponsoring Ryan Vargas, but no one's like the big squeezy. Like, I'm sorry, the big squeezy isn't going to really ring a bell. It's just they're going
Hey,
to.
I know about it now. I'd never heard of it until now. So mission accomplished, Alvin.
But if anyone deserves this, bro, Ryan Vargas, bro, I've been, dude, since 2018. I've been like, dude,
Wait a
we're getting back
minute.
in NASCAR. He's back, bro, and doing big things.
I can't let this go really quick. Somebody asked in the chat, can Josh do a country accent?
Oh, can you do a
Oh
country accent?
God.
Go ahead. We got time.
Well, let's think of something for him to say. You can't just tell him to do it and not have something to say.
Meet me at the Cracker Barrel next door. Say that.
Oh my God, you really gonna get me to do this?
Go ahead, bro.
Well, meet me at the Cracker Barrel on the what?
On the corner, wherever Cracker Barrels are found these days.
Well, do you even know what a Cracker Barrel is? I just gotta ask.
I don't think he does.
Oh,
No.
we don't get a lot of American stuff over here. We got Carl's Jr. and we kind of, put that to the side. Crap. Okay. What?
Yeah, we'll
Okay,
come back
so-
to it. We can save it for the end. We can give
We
you
can
time
save
to
it
think
for
about
the
it.
end. Yeah, we can save it for the end. Put you on the spot.
I hate to put our guests on the spot like that. That's
Sorry.
Well, we do that with every guest.
Yeah,
We
that's
put-
what we do.
Hey, Josh, embarrass yourself by trying to pick out an American accent.
Hey, that sounded pretty good to me.
That was all right.
What? I wasn't even trying anything.
I was just trying to help you out. I was trying to.
No, that's the thing. America is a diverse culture of lots of people, so it fits right in.
Hey, I used to be roommates with a guy from New Zealand, so there you go. He didn't have a country accent either.
You're the accents I know in America is so diverse. You got obviously the Southern, and then you got like
New York.
New York. Yeah.
New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. There we go.
New Roke.
What? Who says that?
What?
If you get the reference, it's from a
and even
movie.
the,
It's from a
you
movie.
go across the Hudson. You got Jersey accent and New York. Just like
Fighting each other to the death.
I could do stuff, but last time I came over here, just threw you on the Hudson. You know what I'm talking about?
Let me tell you a thing. Let me tell you a
Talk
thing or
about
two
Cracker
about thing or three.
Let me tell you a couple of things.
That was pretty good.
I so wish we had Sloppy Joe and Slap Shoes on.
Dude, maybe I should send Sloppy the link towards the end. No.
they do good
That's for a
voices?
separate
No,
show.
no, no,
That's
no,
for a
no,
separate
no.
show.
No.
It gets out of hand. All right, Jared, continue, man. What else we have?
All right. Clint Boyer, according to Adam Stern, has signed a deal with Fox Bet. By the way, just to end on that last point, we embarrassed like all of our guests coming on here. We had
Yeah.
Alex Bowman on, and we talked about Uncrustables.
Uncrustables, yeah.
Yeah.
Taco
Nice.
flavoring. Also, Advanced Auto Parts will showcase local tracks in associate sponsorship of Ryan Blaney, according to Jayski.
That's cool.
Deadline reports that Wendell Scott will receive a documentary TV series and a fictionalized miniseries. Please do not, for the love of God, screw that one up.
Please don't do that. Yes.
Wait, who's making it? Is it a Netflix thing? Is that one of the
They have
Netflix
not
projects?
said.
Oh,
They
I
didn't
can't wait to
say.
see that.
Usually they say. Well, that's okay. We'll find
It's a rumor right now.
out. Okay.
Kyle Larson is not planning to participate in the Knoxville truck race in order to give others a chance to win. No, he's not going to participate. According to Speed Sport, he's not participating.
Oh.
A little sad news here. Bob Jenkins, legendary announcer, and Erica, you actually got to work with him.
He was on the
earlier.
channel, for
Yeah.
Pirates last year. Yeah.
He will be beginning his battle with brain cancer soon and taking
Yeah.
reduced roles to focus on that. So we wish the best to Bob.
It's
Of course.
weird how one Bob Jenkins in Motorsports just had the biggest moment of his life, and the other Bob Jenkins in Motorsports is
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. It's sad. Get well, man.
Martin Truex Jr. has extended through 2022 with JGR. Practice and qualifying are likely to return for 2022, according to Jenna Fryer. Fox. I find it funny that right after the networks say that, Steve Phelps is immediately like, "Yep, that's how it's going."
Yeah. The story there is like there was that one guy from Fox who was basically like, "Hey NASCAR, he was publicly saying like we really like showing practice and qualifying. It helps our advertisers out." And like the very next day, "Oh yeah, we'll have practice and qualifying back
Huh.
by next year."
This practice and qualifying thing, it's a nifty idea. Can we see it?
Yeah.
We can
ooh.
wait. We can sell this. Oh,
Ooh,
why have
we
we
can
not
do
been doing
this?
this sooner?
I know.
Fox Sports, and again, this is before the rain out this weekend. Fox Sports remains bullish on NASCAR after a stable 2020 and compelling storylines for the 2021 season, according to Adam Stern. The Glass Case of Emotion podcast, hosted by Ryan Blaney, is no more. Found out that they have ended that show as well as Sunday Money. It's
He's got a new show.
Oh, I didn't know Sunday Money was gone.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Corey's got a new show, Stacking Pennies.
Oh.
It doesn't have the
Okay.
same cast, but it's him.
All right.
And a new show that has started, and Darian might be able to tell us a little bit about it, and in like a minute or so, is The Crew on Netflix has debuted, and apparently it wasn't as bad as we all thought it'd be.
Look, man, like I came in here with pretty low expectations. Obviously, when someone like Kevin James is the lead in something, you know it's gonna be that type of like humor, the like play the laugh tracks, or I don't know,
A sitcom,
yeah, one of those sitcom type deals.
campy.
But I gotta be honest though, like it was a lot better and a whole lot more detailed than I thought. I thought I was just gonna skim over some things and but like no, like the way they were talking about things was pretty interesting. But man, the freaking obvious ad placement. Oh my god, like at one point they were like, "Oh, that's delicious Smithfield bacon." I'm like, "This is
No, did they really?
Yes. When he met with the freaking guy with Storehouse Racing, it's like, oh, like
Daytona Day.
Yeah, it happens to be a Smithfield bacon right there. It's really nice. And then at the end of the meeting, I kid you not, he gave him a coupon, $5 off for Smithfield bacon.
Oh my god. Has anyone ever been like bacon and thought to themselves, "Oh, this is really good"?
They were
Smithfield
talking
bacon.
about a job, like a job offer, and this like the sponsor, like the ad placement kept popping up throughout the conversation. I'm like, what's going on? But look, for the most part though, the show's doing relatively well in its opening days. It has peaked at number 5 in the United States and in the top 10 on Netflix. Yes, number 5. It's been at number 5 for I believe 2-3 straight days now. So it's been pretty solid.
It's a relatively easy to watch show because they've designed it to be about 22, 24 minutes long. Because honestly, they designed it for TV, but it's not on TV.
Yeah.
But it's still the length of TV that it would be with commercial breaks. So you can easily get through one episode really fast, another episode.
Yeah, there's 10 episodes. So I'd say, for this being the first project, if this leads to more projects, like for example, I mean, like Josh has seen it all. Formula One, they've been doing spectacular things with Drive to Survive, and that's personally like how I got into the F1 a little bit more out here in the States. And I gotta say, if NASCAR can do a similar show like that, similar to what they had in the early 2000s with NASCAR 360, we're in a good place.
And Kevin James is honestly a very underrated actor. He's really
not that
good.
bad. I
He's
like
really
That's
good.
his thing.
He fits good in a sitcom role. But check out his YouTube channel sometime. He showcases a different side of himself on YouTube because he gets to direct a lot of productions of his own kind. Some of them are comedies. Some of them are actually not. They're all pretty much all comedies, but they have a different twist on them. So when you get a chance, go check it out, and you can see kind of more. Really, I think his true potential on there. But for what he's been doing, so what I've seen so far, it's not bad. I did think it was hilarious right off the bat on episode 1. There was pretty much a Haley Deegan reference.
Oh yeah.
That's big.
Wasn't that? Do you think that character was basically just based on?
Oh, it was. I was reading that she literally based her character, like the actress who portrayed her, based her character off of Haley Deegan and Natalie Decker.
I knew
Wait,
it.
so Haley Deegan is like a fictional character in this show?
Yep.
Has a different name. It's like a.
She's like a K&N
Shaylee
series champion.
Shaylee Beegan.
It's not Eric.
She drives the animal energy
Eric,
car.
I forget the name. I forget the name they gave her. They don't name her anything close to Haley Deegan, but they say she's like a 3-time K&N winner and 19 years old. You're like, okay, I know who this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's funny. I need to watch this. I mean, I'm not a big sitcom guy, but this sounds like I at
Just
least
watch
need
it. Yeah,
try it.
And that's it. That's all I need to run.
That's it. Okay. And that'll do it for another edition of the Lightning Round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Yeah, last week I broke it. I was like, I lost my voice last week. But nah. So now we can finally get into the good part, the super chats. And we have...
No, we got a mailbag question first, don't we?
Oh, yeah, the mailbag question. Yeah,
we can't forget about our segment.
Sorry about that. Our own segment, yes.
Yes, which you can also be a part of if you email weeklypodcastguests@gmail.com. This does not mean you will be a guest. It's just the name of the email. So if you ask, you will be ignored. Weekly podcast guest. I will put that in the chat, but you can send it to that. Darian, read off the question while I do that.
Yes, and I recognize this name, Beef Burrito. Thank you so much for sending this. Out of all the races, Eric, Darian, Jarrett, Danny, and Josh, you have been to, which one has been your favorite and why is it your favorite? Josh, if you want to go first, what has been your favorite race you have gone to all time in anything?
Well, it ain't a cup race because I haven't been to the States
They've never been
since
to New Zealand?
2008.
What? No.
Wow.
haven't been to the States since 2008, and I haven't caught a cup race yet. I'm still got to do that. I've got to head to Daytona at least once.
Good start.
Nah, okay. What best race, craziest race I've been to? Bathurst 1000 V8 Supercars race 2014. That was just like no, typically the race goes on for 6 hours. I think this one went on for like 8 because halfway through the race the track was breaking up due to the heat because it was like about 110 degrees Fahrenheit, I think it was.
Holy
at the
crap.
circuit. So it was hot, and like I mean, but this is New South Wales, Australia. You know, like you know, even the bloody snakes and spiders that hang around the circuit were thinking, "Bugger this! I'm not having any of this." But like I because there's a hole in the ozone layer above where we are. You know, it's you walk outside and instantly you're sunburnt. So
Wow.
you need to sort of cover up. And I was like, I'm not getting sunscreen for a 6-hour race, so I just bought an umbrella. Me being the genius I am, it was a black umbrella. And it was a case of I ain't getting sunburnt, but
Perfect.
this is a Moroccan prison right now. And like but it was a crazy race. It included may get a little bit R-rated here. If you like animals, probably don't listen to what I'm going to say. But it's Australia, and it doesn't defeat the stereotype of kangaroos. And I'm at the last corner, and I just see this roo just go bouncing along sort of the wall.
Oh, no.
I'm just like, don't. Oh, no. It goes toward the big spectator bridge. It then stops. It comes back out to where the sort of escape road is, and it looks over the fence and it's like, no. Hops over onto the track, and the flag marshals are right there. I'm just like, hey, ruin the track. Like, what? I'm just eating my bagel. Just leave me alone. So they wave the yellow flag. Like the route misses one of the Mercedes by that much. It goes over toward the pit, toward the paddock. I'm just like, okay, good, it's fine. And then it looks back, and I'm just like, oh, for crying out loud. Hops over. It goes out of my line of view, and I just see this woman scream. And I just hear, and I just see this other car come through, and I briefly see something just go, beneath my feet. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take the damaged car, the woman screaming,
Out.
and the miscellaneous bits and pieces going past my feet here is a bit of an obvious sign.
Surely this is on YouTube somewhere.
YouTube isn't.
It's actually not. Like, I mean, I
Graphic
looked everywhere
content?
for it. All you see is this guy's bonnet caved in.
Maybe it's on live LinkedIn. It's somewhere.
Either way, it was just crazy. And then the race was stopped for a good 2 hours while they reconstructed the circuit. And then, the race ended up being won by a car that was a lap down, had been in the wall twice.
And a kangaroo at some point.
And the second place car as well. No, that was also in the wall once or twice as well. And it was an absolutely crazy race, for sure. So always one that's going to stick with me.
That is crazy.
The only other one that gets close is because the only thing we have close to oval racing here is dirt track racing. We got Western Springs, which is sort of a cathedral of dirt racing. Ooh. And it does attract, like people like the Kinses have been here, Kyle Larson, Rico Abreu. They all come down here for the sprint car race.
Yeah, I've seen clips.
I remember there was this one crazy freaking race. I think it was Abreu versus Larson, and it just, when you see people like that come over here, it just makes you think, oh God, our drivers suck.
They're the best. Yeah, they're the best.
Well, that's the thing about
that's
the thing about here in America, like with dirt track racing, you go in any town that looks like, life must suck here. No one can afford to live anything. You turn around the corner, there's a dirt track that's slammed full of people, and it's drawing in 100 cars a night. Like you turn a corner, oh, you're a dirt truck driver. You're a dirt truck driver.
Yeah. Well, in fairness to you, Josh, Kyle Larson makes most American dirt racers look terrible.
Daddy does.
That's silly, yeah.
I find it funny how like that's like the one motorsport that seems to cross together from multiple different places. It's dirt truck racing, specifically sprint cars. That seems to be about everywhere.
Hey, the world is full of dirt.
I'm in tears about that story.
Dude, I can't top that. I don't even want to answer what my favorite races now.
Kangaroos seem like the deer of Australia.
I was about to say, Jared can probably relate to this. That has got to be a kangaroo is just a hopping deer. That's all it is.
Basically. Oh my gosh.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Well, we should answer their questions.
Yeah. I'll say it really quick. My favorite race I've ever been to. Let's see. Well, obviously not the 2021 5. I mean, like my first 500, great, but like from a racing perspective, it was like, But I'd say my most favorite race was the 2019 Bristol night race, meeting these guys for the first time in person, and just it's Bristol, baby. So that's cool.
That honestly might be mine as well. I haven't been to that many just like crazy races because my home track is Texas Motor Speedway, and it has not been even a watchable racetrack really in about 4 years. So, but I'd say the Bristol night race 2019, fun finish with Hamlin to Benedetto, kind of heartbreaking, but that was a good race.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Jared.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, my favorite's got to be. I've been to a lot of good ones. I can say that for sure. My favorite would be the 2012 Quicken Loans 400. I got to see my all-time favorite driver, Dale Jr., win after 4 years of constant losing. So that felt amazing. Got to share that day with my mom, which she got the tickets like 5 days before the race. She had a feeling, and thank God she was right. But a close second is 2015 Martinsville, where Jeff Gordon got his last win. That was a pretty crazy race.
Quick add on to mine. I was totally just thinking NASCAR. My actual favorite race I've been to is Slinger Nationals 2019 when I see Matt Kenseth win at his home track. But that was cool to see. Quarter mile asphalt track was really, I'd never seen one in person before. That was really cool.
I'd say the second, it's the 2019 Bristol race. Getting to do everything with all these guys and all the emotions of seeing Matt Benedetto almost win. But probably my favorite one was 2017 Martinsville Fall. It was the only race I've been to at Martinsville, and that was a fun race. It was my last time seeing Dale Earnhardt Jr. race in person. I'm getting to enjoy Martinsville. Hot dogs. The temperature was cold as can be, but you didn't care because it felt like good energy there. They had the lights on at Martinsville, and all the emotions of when Denny Hamlin dumped Chase Elliott, and everyone. That's Denny Hamlin's home track, home state. Everyone turned on him that night. It was electric that night. I think that is probably my favorite race, and it was before I started YouTube, so there was no way to go back and look at the memories of that one.
Yeah, I remember I think I put it on my Snap. That's how much social media I had back in those days. Definitely changed a lot since then. All right, so I see we have an ad read in our notes. Eric, do you read that or do I read that?
I can read it. I'm prepared this week. I am super duper prepared. Well, before we get to your super chats, because I see we've gotten a lot of super chats tonight, so we want to hear what you guys want us to talk about. But first, tonight's episode is also sponsored by Lionel, the official diecast of NASCAR. Wow, did you hear that? I called it NASCAR.
There you go.
We got so many different pronunciations. That's
Josh,
fantastic.
Look at what you're doing already.
That was my country accent right there. Order the new 2021 diecast from LionelRacing.com or any officially licensed Lionel retailer, and don't miss Lionel Racing's NASCAR Authentics collections available at Walmarts and Targets. I don't know what wave they're on most recently now, what number they're on, but they're always releasing new ones like every month. So hopefully you get the newest stuff in stores as soon as it's available. They've got some pretty big things in the works this year. Of course, the next gen diecast, next gen car is around the corner, so I'm sure they'll have that later on this year. But yes, Lionel Racing, official sponsor of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast and the Out of the Groove Podcast Network. This week I just chose, because we were talking about Daytona and earlier we were talking about heartbreak and stuff like that, Matt Kenseth 2016, this close to winning at Daytona, and I wanted to mention that it was interesting seeing NASCAR on Fox's YouTube channel hosting a watch party with the three most unlikely characters in NASCAR history.
So awkward.
It was
awkward.
They were live for most of the day, even through the rain delay. It was Haley Deegan. Okay, she's young, she's streaming. Okay, I get it. Greg Biffle, dude, like 50, and Matt Kenseth, who is a Daytona 500 winner, a 2-time Daytona 500 winner, but he's like 48. He doesn't do. What?
And is the most relaxed person on earth.
It was. They had the clip of him like when the big wreck happened on the last lap. He's just like, oh, I guess Michael McDowell won this race. That was his whole reaction. It was just fireball on screen.
Bro, me and MDK saw that, and we were going, "What in the hell is this combination? Like, what? This is so random."
Yeah, it was
the
a little
age differences. Oh my god.
Yeah, it just I don't know, like any one of those guys by themselves, or I think it's fine. Haley Deegan's fine. They can carry the show, sure, but together it was a little weird.
I think they said Haley like fell asleep during the rain delay and never came back.
She didn't show up for the end, and I wasn't sure if it was just in her contract that she could only be on for like the first 5 hours and then she'd bail or what. But I'll be honest, actually, once she left, it was actually probably more fun to watch because Biffle and Kenseth then could just kind of be more like because they know each other. They've been were teammates for years. I think it was a little awkward. Haley Deegan didn't really know when to talk, and I think Matt and Biffle were kind of like, I don't know. It was just weird because it was a 20-year-old and a bunch of 50-year-olds. It just didn't make any sense.
That was
a terrible idea.
That was a weird pairing. I think if they want to do that again, you're gonna have like honestly, I think Kenseth and Biffle are fine. Maybe get someone else that can relate to them. Should
have got David Reagan. Imagine how excited he would be to see his teammate win. That would have been fun.
That would have been cool. But instead,
Reagan was in the race.
Wait a minute. Yeah, he's in the race. Yeah, Reagan was in the race.
If you're gonna have Deegan, get some others that are closer to her age, like a Vargas, like her boyfriend Chase Caver. Get someone like that.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs would have been.
By the way, Eric, going back to our sponsor, Lineup Racing, I found the answer to what wave are they on currently. They are on Wave 9. I picked up one of the newest additions at a local Walmart in Florida.
Okay.
That's nice.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're going above and beyond.
Huge.
Swagging it out.
Me and Claudia went to the local Walmart here in Florida, in the Orlando area, and we was able to find a few of these. They had a few other nice ones. We got the Jimmy Johnson throwback. She got the Chase Elliott throwback. But in this Wave 9, they have the Daniel Hemrick throwback, the Chase Elliott throwback, the Michael Annett Oreo throwback. That was a nice one I saw. The Tyler Reddick throwback, the Jimmy Johnson throwback, of course. The which one was it? This was like the strawberry and banana body armor Ryan Blaney car. They had that one in there. The Kyle Busch Elliott Sadler throwback. The Ryan Blaney, Paul Menard throwback. I think that's what it was.
So a lot of throwbacks.
And one final one. It's not a throwback. They had the Bubba Wallace number 43 DoorDash car, and that one is actually a special edition liquid color chase piece. So if you could find one of the few liquid color ones out there, that might be a pretty rare find right there. So just a little note from our friends at Lionel Racing, but happy to
LionelRacing.com, folks. Pre-order your 2021 diecast ASAP.
Thanks.
All right,
And
we're good, Darian.
While we go into super chats, I'm gonna run and get the Dale call.
Oh yeah, go get the Dale call, bro. All right, so we got
time me, chat. Time me.
Yeah, time him, chat. Let's go. Okay, so let's fire off these super chats right away. Holy crap, it's a lot. It's great. We're gonna be here for a little bit. Okay, so the first one. Let's see. GN, thank you for the $5. To those calling the rules package dangerous, the sport was dangerous in the 90s. Yet nobody died in a cup race until 2001. This is a driver problem. Good point there.
Speedways, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Bake the Snake, thank you for the $10. So NASCAR gave the Keselowski team for a loose/missing lug nut. The question is, was the lug nut missing off of the left front or right front or left rear or right rear?
He got destroyed in that wreck. Wait, you're telling me they still did a lug nut check?
I guess so. This is what they said. I guess they did a lug nut check.
That's excessive. The dude just got like pile driven into the outside.
200 miles per hour. Common sense.
If the lug nut's loose, it's loose.
Yeah, if it's loose, it's loose. Who cares? But I don't know. I guess they cared about that. That's weird. I guess so. But thank you so much for the $10 there. And I lost my place. Dang it. Okay, no,
sorry.
I'll make sure not to do. Okay. Logan, thank you so much for the $2. 20 years tomorrow, Dale Earnhardt left us sadly. Yes, unfortunately. I might have a video out for that, perhaps. I don't know. But man, at least it's been 20 years since somebody has passed away. I guess that's the positive I can look into this.
Yeah. On that note, we were talking about drivers, their etiquette, their safety, and all that. But it is miraculous. Granted, we've lost drivers like Jason Leffler and other
Mhm.
like other series of racing. We've had drivers pass away from other means of racing and accidents in lower series, but we have not lost anyone in the top 3 series of NASCAR in 20 years, and that statement alone is miraculous.
Yes, thank goodness. Irvin Alvarado, thank you so much for the $10. Hey, Josh, great vid on Fuji Speedway. If an F1 driver could go into NASCAR, who do you see jumping on board? We are seeing drivers participating in different styles of racing. It's starting to become the new norm. Josh, who would you think from F1 could transition over to NASCAR pretty well?
I mean, we talking full-time schedule, or are we talking about road ringers here?
Let's do full time. Let's do full time here. Why not?
Right on.
Let's do full time because there's like 7 road courses now. So
Yeah, there's 7.
Yeah,
road
yeah,
courses.
true. I guess can we pick from sort of last year's grid? Because I mean,
Yeah, go for it.
Kevin Magnussen could potentially, he's got that. I reckon he's got it in it. I reckon he's got it in him for NASCAR. I mean, and he's obviously now an IMSA, so he's in the right place.
Is that connection?
Got connections with Gene Haas, so I reckon that could definitely work. Just trying to think, because I mean, God, a lot of Formula One drivers are very delicate, aren't they?
Do you think Lewis Hamilton could make it over, with his talents? I mean, he's so good on the wet tires and all that stuff. Like, I figured, if anybody could do it. And he did test the car in 2012, and he was
with the driver swap with Tony.
Yeah, he was relatively close to Tony Stewart's time. Do you think he could possibly make it if he decided to?
If he decided to, I'm not sure he will.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing because, I mean, obviously it's totally different type of racing. It requires totally different driving styles. I mean, God, who are the most recent F1 drivers that went over to NASCAR? It was Montoya.
I want to say Villeneuve too, but he was there only for a second though.
He was also mainly on the road courses.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever touched the ovals, and when he did, didn't he not qualify?
He missed the 2008 Daytona 500. I remember that.
Yeah. So
basically in that kind of situation, you don't want to put yourself in even though it's not Formula One, it's IndyCar. Franchitti, for example, so good in IndyCar, was so not good in NASCAR, and it really painted a bad picture in his career, and he went back and rebuilt it until ultimately the crash that put him out of it.
Right.
But it's just he went out of IndyCar while he was still in his prime, whereas Jimmy Johnson went out of NASCAR into IndyCar when honestly his prime was done.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, when I think of all the F1 drivers and who could potentially prosper in NASCAR, I do think that NASCAR. I think that's oh man, just taking the piss out of me in the comments. I think K-Mag definitely, I think, has the most potential of all the Formula One drivers. Not that it's a hard thing to do amongst all those drivers. But yeah, I think for me, I think Kevin Magnussen's probably the one who could most probably make it in NASCAR, and he probably wouldn't make it anyway. It's just it's a totally different form of racing.
Totally different beast, that's for sure. Ty Bands, thank you so much for the $5. It was so cool meeting you guys after the dual race. I was so nervous and starstruck, dude. We appreciate you guys coming up to us during the weekend. So thank you so much for the support. Bake the Snake with the $5. Tomorrow marks 20 years to the day. Yes, hashtag raise hell, praise Dale. GN, thank you so much for the $5. But least we forget that NASCAR never did anything about the Hans device until October 2001 when Blaze Alexander died. Yes, that's been talked about on the channel before. Thankfully, though, nothing's happened. At least not a whole lot of accidents have happened since that time period, thankfully. Andrew, thank you so much for the $5. We almost had 3 consecutive underdog winners in the top 3 series this weekend. I was in Phoenix this weekend, so I was I was the good omen. So it was the way he typed it out was weird. So it was a good omen for McDowell. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, because he's from Phoenix. That's right. Camper News Network. Thank you so much for the $5. Do you think that there should be a Daytona's Duels race just for the open cars? Well,
That's not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough. There's only
a few cars in there.
If you didn't like the 2021 Daytona 500, you wouldn't like that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So not enough cars, unfortunately. Ryan
But
Moore.
what do we want to see? I don't know. Let's just put out all like Rick Ware cars and that.
There you go. They have a Rick Ware race. There you go. But 20 Rick Ware cars.
I'll
Sell out the damn place.
I'll race him in my Sonata. Why not?
Let's move on. Ryan Moore, thank you so much for the $5. I think they should crank down the huge runs these cars get. It's like a ticking time bomb. There will be an accident that goes too far. Thoughts? Well, I mean, like we talked about it in the beginning. Yeah, we completely agree. But our stance is mostly this is a driver's problem more than a package problem because they race the same package at Talladega, and usually the racing is spectacular, with the exception of a few wrecks. But I feel like since Daytona is a lot more narrower, it leads to a lot more, chaotic wrecks.
Yeah, I saw someone make a point on Twitter that for whatever reason, and it's true, if I hop into any kind of NASCAR game, NASCAR simulator, I noticed that Talladega is an easier track to drive on.
Mm-hmm.
It's wider. It offers more room for forgiveness.
They have the lines on the track, so you can kind of easily track your lane, honestly.
Even it offers more room to do what you're doing. It offers more room for correction. And when you have wrecked, it offers more room for dissipation of impacts.
Exactly. Let's see. Moving on. Bake the Snake. Thank you so much for the $5. Michael McDowell's career highlight went from flipping at Texas in 08 to winning the 500. That's what we were screaming as soon as he crossed the line. And once again, Bake the Snake with the $10. Thank you again. If they get rid of Daytona, fans will riot. I guarantee it. Yes, you are absolutely right. Billy Carter, thank you so much for the $5. Hey guys, I was trying to get back into wait, hold on. Hey guys, I was trying to get back into Thank Heaven I Found You Guys from the dumpster fire. Oh, okay. So I assume he was saying he was trying to get back into racing and he found us on the dumpster fire. We appreciate you, man. Appreciate your support.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then GN, thank you for the $2. Look up Rusty Wallace's 1994 Daytona 500 pre-race speech to the drivers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's it got deep in there, that's for sure, and for obvious reasons, because that entire speed week's obviously the most tragic. Bake the Snake, thank you so much for the $5. Joey apparently thinks he's God. Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of these, I feel like a lot of these drivers do. Ethan Chang, thank you so much for the $5. Think back to last year's 500. Hamlin had the chance to throw a block when Newman and Blaney blew by him and didn't. Shows he knows what he's doing. Yeah, he's one of the few guys in NASCAR who still knows how to properly race on these super speedways. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely agree.
Bake the Snake, again with the $5. Dude, Bake the Snake, you're a real one. Thank you so much, man. Roger Penske needs to pull a Days of Thunder move on Keselowski and Joey and make them drive to dinner together. Dude, that'd be even
Go to
worse.
Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, go to Cracker Barrel. Go to Cracker Barrel. That'd be even worse. Sean Parkerston, or Parker's Pinkerton. Okay, my bad. Sean Pinkerton.
Do you need help there, Darian?
Yeah, I need a little help. All right, I'm good. Sean Pinkerton, thank you so much for the $5. Jamie McMurray, little Jamie baby, aka Jamie McMurray, somehow will be getting a top 10 finish. Amazes me. Out of retirement, involved in the lap 14 mess, survived the last wreck, and got P8. Yeah, little Jamie baby, congratulations, former 500 winner, getting a top 10. Confirmation 07, thank you so much for the $5. Lord, Josh, you gotta help me say this guy's name again. Regurnerton,
Lord,
right?
Lord Mahavir.
Yeah, Mahavir Regurnerton.
Yeah.
How do you say his last name?
Regurgitate.
Regurgitation? Is that how you say his last name?
Regurgiton. What is this?
I don't know.
Is this the same guy with the South Park? They took care of germs.
Oh my god. I don't know how to say his name. How do you say his name again?
Ragunathan.
Regurnerton. Okay. See.
I like crab ragu.
We'll call him Ragu for short. I like that.
If you know Josh's channel, you'll get that name. You're a real one. Nicholas Gray, thank you so much for the $10. Who has the worst experience when it comes to winning the Daytona 500? Brad Keselowski or Kyle Busch? Knowing that Kyle has more 500 starts, can he crack off that last box? I'd say, wow, it's pretty dead even in my opinion. I mean, Keselowski has proven.
Kyle Busch has done it longer.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Keselowski has proven that he's definitely a true contender at the whatever super speedway we race at. no matter what race it is, and it's just like he just can't seem to get to check this off the list, unfortunately.
Keselowski is one of the most overrated plate drivers in NASCAR history.
Whoa, where's this coming from?
No. Look at his races aside from when he wins. Okay, so yes, he has won a lot. Look at the ones outside. His average finish is like 28th.
So he's either going for win or going for broke. Hey,
he's very obviously and very
he's always getting
He has a very, very Ricky Bobby mentality at the super
I
speed
like
race.
that. There you go.
I will die on this hill.
Wow. We'll make a whole episode out of that next week.
Yeah, let's do it. Confirmation 07. Thank you so much for the $10. Question for Josh. Holden. Holden.
Oh no.
Ragu. Oh God, I can't.
Holden Commodore.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Holden Commodore SS or Ford Falcon XRX Turbo.
I know what he's talking about here. So basically, like over in Australia, New Zealand, like basically there's a big rivalry in cars. So there's the Holden Commodore, which is basically, this was basically a Pontiac GTO. No, that was a Monaro. But what was that? Ah, jeez.
Trying to figure it out.
What was that? What was that Chevrolet? That Chevrolet saloon car that was the pace car in the Cup Series that broke down a few years ago?
Oh,
might have been a Camaro. What was that?
It might have been a Camaro, right?
I don't know if it was.
Wasn't it? Didn't like a Toyota Camry catch on fire?
Yeah, it did.
One time
in the Sprint Unlimited race. Yeah,
I don't remember.
Well, yeah, in a basic sense, like the Holden Commodore and the Ford Falcon is pretty much like the two saloon cars that we worship over here until both companies destroyed themselves in Australia because you had people asking for higher wages and they responded by putting themselves into bankruptcy. The adequate skills of people under the guise of General Motors. But like you're either a Holden Commodore person or you're a Ford Falcon person. Like it's a genuine sort of war in Australasia. Okay, so if I say the wrong answer, this guy is going to absolutely
but he's going to obliterate you. Basically.
Well, I mean, basically, it's a bit like asking, okay, who do you support, the Yankees or the Red Sox?
Oh, so this is deep, dang.
Yeah, and like, I mean, yeah, if you know your baseball, that's basically what it's like. So just like, if like, for example, if you go to a guy from Boston and you say I'm a Yankees fan, he's going to say, "Who do you think you are?"
Yeah, right.
Ah, yes.
So I'm assuming no comment for this answer because you don't want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll give an answer for this one because he'll want it.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Damn, it's really a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Do you know which one you prefer, or are you just not? Are you trying to decide right now? Like which team, which side?
I'm just trying to think of the best answer without getting lynched. That's it.
Oh no. Yeah.
Okay. On any given day, it could be either or.
Oh no.
You know what I mean.
Why?
I'm going to, just take the middle ground here.
Okay.
I realize that that's not a definitive answer. So
Smart
can we move
business
on,
decision.
please? I've embarrassed myself.
Yeah, smart man. Yeah, smart man there. We've been there. It's all good. All right, so the next two super chats don't have any comments, but thank you so much to the Super Squad and Bush Brothers fan for the $1. Appreciate it. You know you're wrong. I love that name. Thank you so much for the $5. Firecracker 500 is the Super Bowl. Yeah, there you go. Logan,
okay.
I appreciate. Yeah, okay, that was good. Yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate the $5 though. Logan, I appreciate the $2. Can't believe Dale has been gone for 20 years. Yeah, I still can't believe it. Confirmation 07. And once again, thank you so much for the $5. The winner of the 2014 Bathurst 1000 was Kaz Mostert. I think that's how you say it.
Chaz
Mostert. Take it. Chaz Mostert. See,
Darian has a problem with pronunciation.
I can't like these names. Like,
I've been worse with my pronunciations. What was the last one? Bogota.
Hold
I
on.
pronounced it Bogota.
Hold on.
So I'm worse with pronunciations. No,
Yeah,
no,
I've said.
you ain't gonna take that.
We have a
credit from
litmus
me.
test, Darian. Don't even say it. We're gonna do the litmus test now.
Oh,
Oh
no.
God.
We're
what
gonna
is
do it now. We're gonna do it now.
Oh,
I'm gonna put it up
God.
to the camera.
Okay.
For those watching at home,
I'm scared.
I want to see if he can read these words correctly.
All right.
What does this say?
Oh yes, John. It's John D.
No. Shut up, Darian.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Oh my bad. Go ahead.
Litmus test doesn't mean for you.
Go ahead.
What does it say, Josh?
What does it say? How do you say that?
John Deere.
There you go.
There you go.
He already knew
Darian.
it. I said.
There you go. Yeah.
I pronounced it
Well,
John
either way.
Deere 2 years ago. So.
You didn't know what
that's
John
right.
Deere
Oh,
was.
Deere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Live on stream, so it's always.
It's literally a running joke for what, 3 years now?
Yeah, I have the
Going on
John Deere hat somewhere. It's in my closet. I'll get it out later. But yeah, no. So his dad gave me a hat, and I have like a die cast from some people. That's funny. So it's always a funny meme. Let's see. All right, so the next one, beef burritos. Thank you so much for the $2. Tisk for picking my question. Now spin that UFO. Spin the UFO. Spin the UFO. There you go. Now you're even making me money. I appreciate it. I love that thing. I appreciate it. Well, I can't say the whole name. LeBron's beep. Thank you so much for the $15. This super speedway package is like the early 2000s Wicker Bill package on steroids. The leader has way too much of a I can't. Some of these words I can't read. Basically,
Just say thanks, LeBron.
Yeah. The leader has too much of a lead due to the huge spoiler. Can this be fixed while keeping good racing? I feel, well, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like it's a driver problem first and foremost. And yeah, if they want to make some adjustments to the package, they can do so. But I feel like they got to take care of the driver's etiquette first.
For years, it was like, we need these guys to be able to get runs and then get rid of that big bubble of air at the front of the pack. And now they did that. And now we're complaining that the drivers are terrible. Like, it sounds like to me.
Yeah. All right, we're almost done. I promise. We're almost done, and then we'll get straight into picks here. Goose Winnipeg, thank you so much for the $2. Josh, say howdy, y'all, in a country accent. If you want to do that, go for it.
Great.
Nice.
All right. Howdy, y'all.
There you go.
Hey,
That's the
that was
best I could
good.
do.
That's good. Yeah,
As the resident Texan, that was pretty decent, actually. That would pass. You show up to a Cracker Barrel around here and pull that accent out, we'll buy it. Everyone will be like, oh, cool.
I mean, I never ever attempt the southern accent at all. The only thing close there, I guess, is the Forrest Gump accent from Alabama.
See, that's more of an
I know it.
Alabama.
More of
Yeah,
a-
Alabama. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
My
know
sister
great
could take
South.
me anywhere. You know, I was like, no, never gonna be back there again. You know,
That's not bad.
Tennessee is like a slightly more educated version of Alabama. So
Wow.
What?
Just slammed Alabama. What is this? I didn't realize y'all had such a rivalry.
you don't even know.
All right, here we go. Kalito, thank you so much for the $5. All this crap towards Bell when more experienced drivers have made bigger bonehead moves in the super speedway races. ... And stop blaming Rowdy. What?
We ripped on Nagano.
If anything, we blame Bell a little bit.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, well, that's his opinion. Pinkerton, thank you so much for the $5. With road courses and Rovals seemingly catching steam on current playoffs, on the current playoff system, will a road course or Roval be the final race within 10 years from now? Perhaps.
within
You never
10 years,
know.
I could see it.
I don't think so yet. Not
Not
yet.
enough people would tune into it, I think.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
enough people would tune into that yet, but it could happen down the road. You never know. And I
Yeah,
think,
always look at TV ratings.
yeah, I think this is the final one. Bake the Snake, thank you so much for the $10. Watch your mouth, Jarrett. He's probably referring to you calling Keselowski overrated.
I think so.
No.
Wow.
Oh
Sticking
my
to his
goodness.
guns.
Hold on, let me refresh this just in case.
No,
Okay,
we'll,
the final
we'll get it.
All right, we'll
it
get
next-
it. We'll get to
we'll
it
get
later.
next pass.
Yeah,
Let's get
we'll
to
get it.
let's get to the
some
road
picks
course.
then. Finally, the road
We got-
course. Let's go.
Yeah. Who wants to? Well, we got truck picks first. So here, Josh, what we do here for picks is we pick the truck winner, Xfinity winner, and then for Cup we have 3 picks. Who's gonna suck, dark horse, and winner. So
But we do one at a time. So first
do one
round,
at a time,
we're doing trucks. I don't know how. Do you watch the truck series with regularity, Josh? I'm not even sure.
We unfortunately don't get that coverage over here, and actually, I'm not sure what's going on with the Xfinity series because we didn't get that here either. Which
They're always on cable.
Yeah. Pretty excited.
All right. Well, you save up. We'll expect something big for the Cup Series picks then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll have the chat because we have the chat chime in with their picks. So we'll just whatever comes in second, we'll put in as your pick for those two series.
Cool. So I guess I'll go first for the Truck Series. Sheldon Creed, I'll take him. He is my win pick for the Truck Series. Won this race last year. He'll make it 2 in a row.
I'll go with Rafael Lessard. I believe he finished 3rd at the Daytona Road Course last year, and he's in arguably a better truck this year with GMS. So I'll go with the young Canadian driver.
I'm gonna go with the guy that finished between them, Brett Moffitt. Why? I don't. I was like, wait a minute. I thought we'd get the second place finisher, but yes, Brett Moffitt is my pick. I think he'll get it done.
I'm gonna go with Jarrett on this one. I'm also gonna say Brett Moffitt on this one.
In a Nice truck, really?
Yeah, so looking at the chat here, seeing a lot of Sheldon Creed, Zane Smith, a few John Hunter Nemecheks as well.
I think it's Creed with Smith being second.
Yeah, that's
So
perfect.
I'll put that.
All right,
down.
give him Creed. So when he wrecks, I can defeat all of you.
Let's see.
Which I'll be interested in this one because since I'm basically still stuck in Florida, I think I'm gonna go to the truck race.
Do it, man.
Yeah,
Do it.
you might as well. You might as well, man. Might as well have some fun while you're down there. All right, so now moving on, the Xfinity Series. I'll get my pick out of the way. Austin Cindric. I think everyone's gonna pick Cindric, to be honest with you. So Austin Cindric, can't go wrong with him.
Yeah, see, now that we're keeping track internally of how our picks do each week, I can't have fun with these picks anymore. So I'm going to go Cindric as well. He won last year and led the most laps.
You gotta be
I'm
smart.
going Cindric. I'm going across the board here.
Daddy.
I'm trying to get an idea of what the starting lineup is actually, but
You don't have to.
Ask Mickey.
heck, you know what? He's on the pole. I'm gonna say Moffitt can sweep it.
Oh.
Whoa, now that is bold.
That is ballsy there.
That
Congratulations, you get
wow.
to move up some spots. No, we'll see. We'll see.
And it will not be your victory. It will not be my victory. It will be our victory. Or it's our motorsports.
Comrade.
All right.
Introducing the new last place runner in our standings.
Okay, let's be real. The chat's picking Cindric.
Yeah,
and
everyone-
second place
Some
is
AJs. I see some dingers.
Yeah,
I
second
can see a lot of
place is
dingers.
Allmendinger.
Yeah.
I
Second
see a
place
lot of
is
dingers.
Allmendinger.
Maybe I'm just coming in late.
Yeah, you figured it was gonna be those two, of course.
I-
Good luck to Vargas, though. I can't wait to see that car on the track. That's gonna be nice.
I think he can get a top 15.
Yeah. He's obviously gonna keep the car clean too.
He's currently leading for Rookie of the Year standings too.
Ah, that's right. That's
And,
right.
and honestly, I've been looking at the other ones who are actually on there, considering that he's basically the only one that should be full time from my understanding, especially with Anderson basically being, screwed out of things there. And who was the other one?
Who's the other one? I can't remember.
Drove the 8 car for Junior Motorsports.
Barry. He's
Josh
Yeah,
Berry.
Josh Berry. He's only part time in that deal, and Ty Gibbs. Granted, a lot of those guys will get more points on average, most likely, but they're not running all the races. So, potentially Vargas might could sneak in there and get Rookie of the Year this year.
Yeah, we'll see.
Absolutely.
All right, so now moving on, the Cup Series. Now we have to go through all 3 picks. So Josh, what we do for the Cup Series, who's gonna suck, underdog, and then we pick our winner, or as we like to call it on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, the wiener.
As he likes to call it.
Yes,
Yeah.
the wiener.
But again, we do it one at a time. So we're going to start this first round with who's going to suck. Are you going to
Eric,
start us
you
off?
go first. No, you go
Oh,
first. You're
okay.
talking first. I'm putting you on the spot. Eric.
All
go
right.
first.
I'm going to go with Kevin Harvick. Dude wiped out twice in the first half of the Clash the other night. And, everyone expects Harvick to be really good everywhere. I think he runs outside the top 10. Harvick.
I think an obvious one here, Austin Dillon. He's not a really good. Yeah, that's the pretty safe suck. Who's gonna suck pick? Not the best road course racer. Kaz Grala took over for that 3 car last year, and in his debut got a top 10. And Austin Dillon, I think, has yet to even score a top 15 finish on a road course, and that streak will continue. Austin Dillon.
I'm gonna. I hate to say because I want to see him and the team do good, but I'm not going to see a good performance from Bubba this weekend, so Bubba's going to have to be mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the best road course racer.
I'm going with an old veteran too, but I'm not going with Harvick. I'm going to go with Ryan Newman. He has not been shown to be well at this track in both his showings, and I don't see it getting better.
Josh?
Ouch.
Oh, who's gonna suck? Yeah. I don't know. I've been weighing up. I was thinking like, because Bubba. I mean, I love the guy, but not the best road course racer.
Not even
You know.
close. Not even
No, but I don't know that that 2311 package is a lot more competitive than I thought it was going to be. So
Bad speed.
I mean, I don't know if he's necessarily going to suck. So I'm going to go with the safe pick, Austin Dillon.
Okay.
Yeah, smart. Man.
It looked like the chat was going after Harvick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's since stabilized, but Harvick got the early lead in the suck pick.
Yeah, so
That's pretty fair. He looked pretty weak in the clash.
Oh yeah, he was way off the pace. He spun out twice actually. I was like, oh no.
Only once was really his fault. But,
Yeah, right. So I guess we'll just put Harvick for the guest, or no, for the chat pick there for who's gonna
Yes.
suck. All right, so
absolutely.
moving on, the underdog. Eric, who is your underdog for this weekend?
I have a feeling I know what most people are gonna pick here, but my underdog, I'm riding the hot streak, Michael McDowell. I think he is the underdog this week. Can we call the defending Daytona 500 winner an underdog? Well,
You can't.
I think
Once every 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, every
Yes,
10
you
years
can.
apparently. Yeah.
If he drives for Front Row Motorsports, you can call him an underdog.
certainly. Well,
Playoffs too. That's crazy.
he finished 10th at the Daytona Road Course last summer, so I'm gonna go with Michael McDowell getting himself another top 10. He might be like legitimately leading the points after this week, after 2 races. That'd be pretty
I'm
cool.
gonna go ahead and go next because simply I am agreeing with Eric on this one. I am going to Michael McDowell because you have to remember before the Daytona 500 this year, his only win in NASCAR was on a road course at Road America, Richard Childress Racing in the Xfinity Series.
Forgot about that.
So yes, Michael McDowell is also my underdog. I could see a top 10, a top 5 finish for Michael McDowell.
Road courses are the best tracks to show off a driver's true talent, especially in NASCAR. And you know the dirt track fans love hyping this guy up. He has yet to practice on this course like that, and really has yet to run a NASCAR race on this course. I'm gonna go with Kyle Larson as my underdog. I'm really interested to see if all that raw talent will be put to use this Sunday.
See, I'm surprised no one took this guy, especially Eric. This guy did pretty well last year in this race, relatively, and he did all right in the Clash too for the equipment given. I'm going with Eric Jones, the 43 car.
I didn't want to appear too too partial here. But yeah.
Dude, Danny's here. You're going with Bowman every. Well, man, he tries to go with
No,
Bowman every.
well, let's see. We're getting to the win pick now.
Yeah,
Now we gotta
we'll see. We'll
Well,
find out.
no.
First,
Yeah,
Josh's underdog.
Yeah, Josh,
I'll ride the gravy train here. I mean, because McDowell's got background in road courses, so
Mhm.
you know he'll be riding a wave of momentum, of course. So, yeah, my pick is is the 34 for the underdog. Pick.
Michael
Does he
McDowell.
have Loves as a sponsor this week, or is it a different paint?
It's a different paint scheme I saw.
Aw.
It's like a black
Somebody could
scheme. So.
Be consistent.
Loves comes on board for races where I think they expect to actually run really well.
Yeah.
I saw that there was a report somewhere that they were only signed on for 8 races this year, and they increased it to 20 after winning last night. I
Nice.
saw a report,
Hey,
so
yeah.
good for them.
Nice. That's awesome.
And I'm seeing
Have any of y'all actually stopped at a Loves? Like I have.
It's
We
good.
haven't
No,
It's
seen it.
good.
no, I've never
Yeah.
done that.
They're fine.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're decent.
And the chat's looking heavily partisan to Allmendinger.
Yeah,
Like-
that's what it's looking like.
Is Allmendinger
it's-
racing?
The 16 car.
Yeah,
Yep.
Oh, they're
16.
racing this one. Oh, that's right. I forgot he is. I forgot he had this one circled. That's right.
Dang it. But nah, he's racing. So I'm assuming the chat just put Allmendinger for them. That looked
All
like
right,
a sweet,
Darren,
clean sweep.
What do you got? What do we got left?
Yeah, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win on the Daytona road course? Eric, you go first. Who's gonna win? at
I'm going
Daytona?
back to what I said earlier. I want to have a fun, pick somebody fun here, but he's starting on the pole. Lead every lap. Chase Elliott's gonna win.
Yeah, I'll just get out the way. Chase Elliott, clean sweep it up. Yep, no problem. He's gonna.
He's
get
not
this one.
actually gonna lead every lap, but he'll lead a lot of them, I think.
Yeah.
Watch he does.
Yeah,
If he does,
Chase Elliott.
I'm going with Elliott.
Yeah, Danny.
big
Yeah,
risk.
I want to say Elliott because that seems like a safe pick. We all went with him for the Clash, and we saw how that ended. I don't know.
He was still the top
But-
finisher
Yeah.
of our picks,
That's true. And he took my pick out in that race.
which I was very thankful for in the point standings.
You know what? I'm going to be the oddball here. I'm gonna say Denny Hamlin wins it actually,
Ooh, he's gonna go for it. Yeah,
because he was right on this bumper a year ago.
Yeah, he's gonna go for it. He's gonna go for the points game. I'll see what happens. Okay. And Josh, who's gonna win or win?
I'll go against the grain here. No, I won't. Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
You had me
It's
look up for a
looking
second. I was like, what's he gonna say?
Don't get me wrong. If Chase wins, I'm not disappointed. But I don't know if he can win this many consecutively.
We'll see.
And it looks like the chat's heavily partisan for Elliott too, which is not surprising.
Yeah.
This would be his 6th road course win in a row, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Be
matching Jeff Gordon, right?
No, it'd be fifth.
Oh,
it's
fifth.
4th or 5th.
I thought I saw a report today.
He's close to
so.
6. He's close to 6.
I think it's 4.
I think he's chasing that. as
Okay.
well.
Yeah,
that's the record he's going for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And really quick, for those at home who want to know the points after the first week, because we picked the Clash and we picked the 500 and Xfinity and trucks and all that good stuff. Right now, I and the chat and the collective guests have the lead with 22 points.
But let's hope you didn't screw it up for them, Josh. The guests are in the lead.
Yeah.
We started you off at a great spot. So the three of us are tied for the lead. Then Eric and Danny are right behind us, -2, tied for 4th or 2nd, however you look at it. And then there's Darian, -7 with 15 points.
Shit.
And I just want to say that I am tied for the lead, and my truck pick didn't even make the race.
Dang it. Well,
That
my
is impressive.
guy didn't even get a lap in. That was ridiculous. That was so
At least you
ridiculous.
got points from it.
It's so ridiculous, though, man. James Busher deserves so much better on Friday. Oh, that's a shame.
Disrespectful. Well,
Let's get these last super chats out of
Yeah,
the
let me
way.
get
Let's
these
head out.
last super chats, and we will call it a night. Let me refresh it. Give me a second. Come on. There we go. All right, so we got them up here. 2 more. Confirmation 07, you have donated a lot, just like Bake the Snake. Thank you guys so much thank you for the $5. Josh, you can answer. I love both. The U.S. Got the Commodore as the Pontiac G8. And later, the Chevy SS, which the NASCAR body was based on. So that's good to know. That's cool. And then the final super chat, Thomas Jarrett, thank you so much for the $1. And that'll conclude the super chats on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Man, and that will pretty much nearly conclude the show. We're close to it. A few more things we need to announce. The NASCAR Weekly Podcast will be back on next week, but on which channel? Danny?
do you have anything to say for yourself?
Yeah.
I'm in a situation where I'm not able to look at.
Oh yeah, that's right. My bad.
I didn't realize. Am I hosting?
Oh yeah. It says it says in the notes you're hosting. Yes, next week on Danny B Talks channel with we don't have a special guest yet, but we will be announcing that soon. So
You got to figure something out.
Then next week, join us on Danny B Talks.
yeah, there you go.
We're working on a guest. Trust me. If we get the guest, I think it'll be a really fun episode. It'll be a fun episode either way, but I think the guest will add a ton of spice to it.
Yeah.
As for this week's special guest, Josh, thank you for sticking with us for the full 2 hours. There's not many people out there that are willing to put up with us for that long. So
I appreciate
we really
it.
do
No,
appreciate it.
thanks for having me on, and thanks for putting up with my complete lack of knowledge of your sport.
Don't worry about it.
Held your own pretty well.
Yeah, you did.
That's good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The kangaroo story sent you over the top, though. That was good.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's legendary.
Yeah, I can't believe that actually happened. That's
Do
funny.
you got that southern accent ready for us?
Yeah, do you have? Do it one time. Do
Hey,
it one time before we
they
go.
gave us the howdy.
Yeah.
What was the line that you
Something
wanted to
about
spell?
Cracker Barrel. I
yeah,
kept going to that well.
Like let's
Ju-
go
just-
to the Cracker
just-
Barrel or something.
Just say, y'all, let's go down to Cracker Barrel for some fried chicken.
Y'all, let's go down to Cracker Barrel for fried chicken. That's
that was all right.
really
Yeah.
something, isn't it?
You know,
Yeah.
I love it.
It's perfect.
if I was working at the Cracker Barrel, I'd suspect something was off, perhaps, but I would let it slide. That's how that would work. That was good.
That was
Yeah.
completely off the cuff.
That's
Most
funny.
worst American accent ever, but
Well, Josh,
That's
where
what
can
we're gonna
people
roll
find you on YouTube?
Yeah.
And do you have any exciting projects coming up that you want to tease or let people know about?
I've always got exciting projects coming up.
Nice.
I've always got projects coming up. Always got people to slander and all that stuff, you know. But ironically, one of the next projects, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Rich Energy stuff.
I
you know,
am.
that
Yes.
went on with
actually,
Haas. How many of you have actually seen the products?
Never.
At all.
Never.
No.
In
my life.
person, no.
No.
Oh.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
It exists.
Oh,
It exists?
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Plot twist.
And premium UK energy drink, which is why it was bought from Croatia and made in Austria.
Wow,
I'll be
I'm in
doing
shock.
an updated video on that guy next week, and that'll be fun. So you better watch it within the first 24 hours because I'm expecting that guy to bloody well sue me after that.
Take it down.
Because
Request a takedown.
But I mean, having said that, there's two reasons I call this guy Bad Santa.
Yeah.
He obviously looks like him. And he comes around once a year, or in his case, he only pays once a year. Just ask Gene Haas.
Oh.
But yeah, just all very exciting stuff.
Yes, we can't wait to see it. Thank you so
Nice.
much, Josh Revell, for coming on tonight's edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. So I am doing the outro for the first time. I think I got it down. I've been practicing.
Oh, here we go.
I've been practicing really quick. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna play the music. Hold on, let me say my outro. Thank you
Wait.
guys. Hold on.
Wait.
Just give me a second. Hold on. I'm gonna say my outro, and then I'll let you play your thing.
I ran out the
Jared.
freezing rain and snow for this thing.
All right, so I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time, Jarrett. Bye-bye.
Later.
Is it off? Is it off? Is it off? Is it off? I hope they can hear me. Is it off?
It's Jared.